Hey everyone, and welcome to a one-off podcast something. I don't know what you'd call it, but it's just some chatting about YouTube stuff, really. So why don't we go around the table and introduce ourselves for those who maybe don't know who everyone is here. We can go from left to right in the Discord icons, maybe. So, Bad Ghost, maybe we'll start with you.
Hello. I've been around for 3 years, give or take. I review games and the occasional thing that crops up.
I'm a Nintendo. I cover retro content. I like the N64. What else? SNES games. Oh I'm Mandalore. I also do I do what Ghosts do.
I was like, how long is this? Like, this is clearly a bit, but how long has it been?
I feel so silly for introducing this thing so seriously.
It's fine. I've done this for a few years. I think we're in the same boat of mainly covering what comes to mind, except for Zade, who's a little more focused in.
Yeah, but, yeah.
Man's got discipline. We don't.
Yeah, well, it kind of just happened. It's like that, you make kind of one thing and then it kind of pops off. You're like, man, I got to make more of this thing, and then that's just all you make forever.
The curse.
Oh, it's my turn. Oh, my name is thesummerofmark. I've been doing YouTube for 3 years, and I cover mostly old cult classic games, but I occasionally dabble in with the new. Wow, I'm stuttering. I occasionally cover new games as well, but mostly old games, cult classic games.
I'm Zade. I, as alluded to, mostly do RTS, but sometimes I don't. But usually I do. Yeah, I've been doing it for 3 or 4 years at this point. So we have we pre-planned this with a list of random topics. The idea is to kind of talk about, I guess, creating on YouTube more than the specific games. But as I kind of said in the prelude to starting recording, I'm assuming this will just become a tangent-filled mess of a podcast.
Something's going to come up.
Yeah, and we'll be like, oh man, we were on this question like 35 minutes ago and we haven't answered it at all.
I mean, we did wonderfully with the intro.
Oh, I think so.
I'm sorry for disrupting that. It's fine.
So we can just start with like the nice easy one. What got you into making videos? So I think this is, we've all probably like told this story individually to like a million people or like on other podcasts or whatever, but I kind of find it interesting just hearing kind of how you got into it and what made you start like a YouTube channel. Anyone can take the floor.
Seemed like something fun to do.
Yep, fair enough. That's kind of where I was at too, to be honest. I was working a crappy job, and I was like coming home from work. I'm like, man, my work sucks. And my wife was like, man, you should just like start a YouTube channel. I was like, okay, and here we are.
Is that really how it happened?
Awesome. That's really
pretty
awesome.
much. Like, there was a bit more like in depth.
Okay, I for a second I thought like she didn't know, like she wasn't even sure what it would be about. She was just like, oh, just make a YouTube channel.
Oh, no, you're right about that. It was
really,
yeah.
She's like, it could be anything. Just make something.
Yeah, I was watching like a Creparian stream, and I was like, oh man, this would be like kind of fun. And she was like, yeah, you should just like start a YouTube channel and like be something fun to do. So all right.
Wow.
And yeah, that's kind of how it grew, but it was never intended to be like an RTS channel.
Right. She might just be like, oh, like go prank people and record it.
Yeah, make prank videos. Yeah, pretty much. It was initially I just made like random stuff, and it was September. I'm like, I'm gonna do the September month of strategy because they both start with S, and it was the best or worst decision I ever made.
And that's how you got into Disney.
You got into RTS because September started with S, and then you couldn't escape.
That's exactly right.
Now in like an alternative world, I have like October Zade, who's like, I'm gonna do horror list because it's October, and the future of Zade is just horror focused. Or December, all just Christmas games forever.
That would be pretty fun, just having like a monthly schedule of doing like every month you just do whatever is the thing. But yeah, no, it was I had a video on Sins of a Solar Empire, and the game happened to go on sale when I made it, and it got like 1,000 views. And Stardog retweeted it, and I was like, holy crap, I'm in it. And yeah, and then it just became strategy everything.
That is wild. It's like, have you ever wanted to cover like other stuff before though?
Yeah.
We're like, this game's fun, but
yeah, I have. And like at the start of every like year, I'm like, I should really like push out, you know, like try something else, but it just never like does that well.
I was gonna say, is that where like Future Cop came from? Because when you mentioned Future Cop, I was like, hang on a minute, that's a little bit out of your spectrum.
Well, I was thrown off, but it's in the neighborhood.
It's vaguely there. Like initially, my channel was like, I'm gonna make videos on like games I've played a lot already, so I don't have to research them at all. I can just like write a script because I have like my whole childhood playing this game, and it happened to be that there was a lot of strategy games.
Yeah, I wouldn't know about making 2-hour videos on games you played for your entire life. I wouldn't know about that at all. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's the one. That is the one, but I spent far too long working on that video.
And just in time for the remake.
Don't say that.
How long did it take you to make that video?
It took me 3 months, but it was probably the most intense 3 months of working of my entire life because I played a lot of the game. I didn't plan to do it. I realized like early in the year, I should probably make this video because it's, you know, it's this year. And I didn't, I've missed other celebratory anniversaries like Total Annihilation. Haha, wink, wink. But
there might be a secret video in a collab in the works on that one.
But it was like, I should probably do this. So at first it was like, okay, how the hell do I even capture a decent copy of this? And then it just sort of rolled from there. But I was taking my secondary laptop with me everywhere. So I was editing audio like on my lunch break, or I had it in my car so I could edit audio in my car.
God, that's hell, man.
It just,
oh my God.
Yeah, like, I'm going to visit family. Okay, I'm going to arrive 20 minutes early, sit in my car, edit audio, and then I'm going to walk in. And if they say anything, it was like, you saw nothing. Nothing happened.
The absolute grind set.
Yeah, that is fucking nuts. Like I've heard of people when they'll be like, oh, I had to make time off, but like carrying the laptop to get like to do bursts of editing.
It was because I was on a time limit of this is the day. I have to have this done by this day. So
because it was the anniversary, right?
Yeah. If it was like any other project, I wouldn't have gone quite so bonkers. But because it was that exact day, I was like, okay, if I miss this, I'm gonna hate myself for this. So, and it just spiraled out of control.
Yeah, I heard that hesitation on hate, but I understand.
But,
I mean, that's scary though, because like 20 minutes of editing feels like what 20 seconds of work.
Yeah,
like we all, I think, enter the like editing black hole where it's like, oh, it feels like I've done this for 10 minutes. So you look at the clock and realize how long it's actually been.
I think I can't remember where I saw it, but I read something that was like scarily accurate, where an hour of editing equates to a minute of finished video. And when I saw that, I was like,
yeah,
it's like, oh my God, I have videos that are like 30 minutes. And that's just the video edit. That's not everything else.
That's about right. I mean, I didn't know how much time until I got one of like the Steam Vegas things. Then it showed my time in it, and it's like, oh God.
I don't ever want to see that.
Do you know the channel that Every Frame of Painting, the film critique YouTube channel?
Oh yeah.
In their post-mortem, they said that they spent 9 hours of editing for every 1 minute of video, which was
holy shit,
crazy.
No wonder their videos are so fucking detailed. Jesus.
No wonder they stopped.
Like, even like an hour of work for a minute is like, all right,
yeah,
okay.
This is where you absolutely crawl back to Da Vinci. Like, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for like your little time savers of me not having to like manually key a scale from 90% to 95% 100 times in one video.
I've really got to get on Da Vinci.
Like a Da Vinci ambassador, I'm always like, man, Da Vinci's so good.
But I have to relearn all the hotkeys from Vegas.
It has a preset. It has a Vegas preset.
Oh shit! I'm running out of excuses now.
It's got presets for all
how much
like
are they
the
paying
big.
You?
Undisclosed.
Is DaVinci immune from the thing where when your timeline gets filled with clips, it starts to horribly slow down?
Yes and no.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It doesn't. Premiere got worse for sure.
Every Adobe product's just been getting progressively worse since they switched that online thing.
Yeah, I remember when that happened. Like I think I was studying like at uni at the time, and they moved to Creative Cloud. I was like, okay, sure, it's like more accessible. Okay, this is before like software as a service became this like horrific thing that is in every piece of software that's ever made.
It sounded like a fine idea. Like, oh, you get all the other. It's all right here, and it's always updated, and then you see what the updates do.
What about deciding on a video? I would love to hear. Like I've thought about doing like a podcast like this for ages, and I've had so many questions. Like I'd love to hear how people think about making videos. Is it almost do you guys just like think of a game and be like, oh, that'd be cool? Because that's what I do.
Basically, yeah. I just look at my Steam library. I have a lot of games that I paid money for, so I may as well, play them and turn them into a video.
I think for me, it's all over the place because sometimes it is that I'll browse Steam and hey, this weird indie thing, let's play this. But then sometimes you get to be in your bonnet about a certain game that's coming up, and it's like I should really look at that, and you get real stubborn about it too. It's like, oh, I remember that Fellowship of the Ring game from back in the day. I wonder if I can get that running. And that sentence alone is fucking dangerous because then
gives me shivers.
Like that caused so much grief. I
can get that running as a kiss of death.
Systems. Yeah, I had to test 3 different systems to figure out the best way of getting that running. That's the level of stubborn that evoked from me. That's not good. I shouldn't do that, but I made the video, so
yeah, that's rough. I haven't had like any serious problems with getting stuff to run, but I made a video on Homeworld recently on like this series. And I was like, it'd be cool to like buy an old computer, right, and like film it like an old CRT and stuff to like like my channel is just like nostalgia of the channel, right? So I was like, it'd be cool to have Homeworld on actual CRT and like bring it back. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll like get this old computer and like run XP on it and like install Homeworld like it used to be. And then I was like, man, this is gonna be a real pain in the ass. So I just bought a old Dell Office PC and ran Windows XP in a virtual machine for the screenshot and then booted it on Windows 10. I think it is literally the same game, like the Homeworld Classic, and as part of the remastered collection. The classic version is the same as far as I know.
Yeah, the classic versions have not been touched at all. Those are just as they were, but they run. So I had talked to one of the people who worked on the remasters, which he basically said these are almost remakes at this point because it's all in the Homeworld 2 engine, which caused just nightmares upon nightmares trying to get the first game to work, which is why it's still kind of janky on its own today.
Some bad recent memories. I recorded some test clips of Homeworld, and then I wanted to delete those test clips, but I accidentally deleted my entire YouTube folder, which included a video I was working on. I was editing, so
you couldn't. I Control Z that one.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. I don't know. I was tired. I've had a really bad day at work, and that was just the cherry on top. So I guess I'm not playing Homeworld too soon.
That is really brutal.
That happened to me recently too, also with fucking Homeworld footage.
Oh,
there's a bunch of I have backups of like almost everything, and I just hadn't updated them on physical recently, just in time to format the drive that had a bunch of Deserts of Karak footage on it. I'm like, you know what? There's something. I'm starting to think there's a curse with these games. Just something about it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. The biggest like win I found for not deleting footage is I have a 1 terabyte like SSD that I work off, right, and that entire SSD is synced with OneDrive. Actually, the best decision I ever made. It's amazing.
Oh yeah, online sync is great.
Yeah. So if I ever delete footage, it's just there.
See, mine is slightly similar, but not. Basically, everything that I record immediately goes on an external SSD. So I have a duplicate of everything. Then that fucker gets unplugged and put in a box, and it stays there until the video is done. And then I can wipe the footage from it. It's like, okay, it's done. But I'm so panic stricken of losing such a huge amount of work that I was like, right, this is going to be put in a safe place. Like, I'll put it in a bomb shelter. It'll be fine. And then the video will be done.
For a second, I thought it was going to go somewhere so safe that you forgot where you hit it.
And that's how I lost my 2-hour Silent Hill 3. Is there Silent Hill 3? I know nothing about Silent Hill 3. Silent Hill.
The Silent Hill 3 video. There is.
There is? Oh, wow. How about that?
It's the Silent Hill 2.
The best, I'll
continue.
Fanboy over Silent Hill for 2 seconds, and why not? I am that guy. The best description of the first 3 Silent Hill games was from Jordan Underneath, in my opinion, which was when he described the first one's like white. It's all about innocence because you have the little girl and everything. The second one is all gray because it's all about like moral ambiguity and things like that. And the third one is red because it's just blood everywhere. And that's literally the third game. It's just blood everywhere. And everything is just going apeshit. Everything wants to kill you in an extreme fashion compared to the second one. And I heard that. I was like, yeah, that's about right. That's accurate.
That is the simplest way I've heard those 3 games, but
I miss Jordan.
And then they took that whole color concept and applied it to Mass Effect 3's ending, right?
Oh man,
that's the canon, right? That's how
reopening old wounds here.
Mass Effect 3's ending triple pisses me off now because people play it and they go, "That wasn't so bad." It's like, no, that's not the ending they released with.
Yeah, people forget that. Like the release ending was really bad.
Yeah, they don't know that's like, oh yeah, it's better now because they put in like months of work into a free DLC to make the ending longer and explain all this. So people are like, man, everyone was overreacting. It's not that bad. It's like that's not it.
Isn't it
was
wild?
Fucking horrible.
When you think about it, like enough people were like, man, this sucks. They're like, okay, we're gonna like put in hours and hours of work to like update it.
To fix the part of the game people reached the least. So it was that bad. So it had the shortest development time out of any of them. They had like barely over a year with it. They were scrambling to the end. It's like, what do we do? What do we have time to do?
Colors.
Yes. Render this one blue, render this one red, it'll be fine.
I guess it was the same similar attitude to the Sonic guys when they released that trailer, and everyone was like, if you don't fucking change this, we are not going to go see your movie. And then they put that tweet up. It was like, we hear you, we're sorry, we're pushing it back, we'll fix this.
It's still insane to me that actually happened. Like,
that's like the Mass Effect ending to like a even more insane degree. So
yeah,
we're just gonna like strong arm an entire like the biggest like movie studio in the world to like redesign the blue guy.
There's enough people saying he looks like a freak that we're going to delay the movie to completely change our character.
I can't for the life of me remember which film it is, but I think the best thing that came out of that was there was a film that released recently. I have no idea what it is. I haven't seen it, but a clip from that movie went viral because that version of Sonic is in that movie, and he's like a dejected failed actor who's like trying to sell T-shirts. He's like Ugly Sonic or whatever the hell it's called, and the main characters walk past and we're like, "Hey, that guy!" And it's like, "Oh my god, you actually put it in your movie."
They had Tim Robinson play him, so he sounded like extra washed up and gross. Like, hey guys.
Some inspired casting. I remember reading about that. But
it was an animated movie, but
it was like Roger Rabbit 2, but not Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, something
it's like a Chip and Dale thing, I think. I don't know what the movie's called though.
The reviews were like, yeah, I haven't seen any of that, but when I was curious about it because obviously I saw that clip, and then all the reviews were like, oh, it's really good, it's really fun. I'm like, okay, not what I was expecting. Makes you wonder if maybe X-Men Origins Deadpool, maybe if that was a little bit more in the trailer, maybe Fox would have been like, "Oh, the fans hate this. Maybe we should change this."
That was
Ryan,
like
get
before
out of the
Twitter,
suit.
though, right? Like before, like people just flipped out on anything they didn't like.
Maybe, yeah. I guess there was a little less.
I've got the work print of that movie somewhere, and that's like a piece of art. It's like Wolverine's claws have like no reflection on them and stuff, and all the effects are unfinished. It makes it possibly the best of the original X-Men movies.
Because they weren't practical, were they? They just CGI'd them onto his hands.
Yeah,
and it looks awful.
And like somehow the work print got online before like a lot of the effects were finalized, and the entire movie it's just a nightmare. God. It's a lot more interesting to watch that way.
Yeah, that would be quite fun. It's like watching like any CGI heavy Netflix show like the day it comes out. You're like, damn, there's a lot of unfinished effects in here.
It's like somewhere out there is that original Sonic movie, or at least some big sections of it with that freak Sonic in it. And there's that I know that cats. Apparently there is like a version where the cats had the anuses on them, and they said this is weird. Let's CGI those out again. But somewhere on a hard drive, somewhere, it's out there.
And the external SSD in the box.
Safety deposit box, yeah.
Yeah, and the bomb bunker with Silent Hill 3 footage.
No one needs to see this.
I can't go back there.
I love how all of this spiraled from how did you get into YouTube?
Well, this is what I told you this would happen. It would just would start with a question.
Tangent nightmare.
And then it's like, man, remember when cats everyone had to rotoscope the anuses from the cats? Remember that?
This is like the same argument for who was the unlucky guy who had to animate in the horses in Red Dead 2. It's like, who was the unlucky person assigned that job? Because you just know they hated that guy.
That was like happening in like the same news cycle where man, Rockstar really has like a crunch issue, huh? And then they're like, we look at the detail. We spend all this time like animating the horse.
That's right, yeah, the balls shrink when it's cold or something like that.
Also, we make our staff work 100-hour weeks. It's like not a good like two stories to be next to each other. It's like, did they need to do that? And I'm just looking at that cat's article. Like, no.
I'm just like, the title of that alone.
Can you read it out for us?
This is a cursed article.
Everything about that, even the fucking thumbnail, that look is not a look I want to see in a kid's movie.
That whole thing was not. I'm still convinced that whole movie was like a tax write-off. That's why they made it.
It seems like some kind of laundering for somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, that's why the studio got rid of Final Space. The creator openly admitted that the show was cancelled because it was a tax write-off. He was absolutely crushed. Yeah.
Right, I'm gonna spiral us back on topic here. Otherwise, I shudder to think we would end up in half an hour.
What topic? Do you wanna know a fun fact? We're on 27 minutes.
I would love to know a fun fact.
Oh.
Oh, is that the fun fact?
Yeah, we're on 27 minutes.
Oh,
that is.
I thought the fun fact was about cats and how they casted James Corden, and James Corden's fucking atrocious. I saw a theory that like he's the flash mob dancing British man.
Oh.
I saw a very plausible theory that simulation theory could be real, and that it's like James Corden is a member of the Matrix who took the deal with the machines, and that's why he's just like a celebrity for no good reason.
He would make an interesting cipher.
James Corden sold us out.
He would too. You just see his face. I mean, you would sell us out.
He really would.
I'll tell you what Zion is. Just let me be famous.
I mean, Resurrections was so terrible. It's amazing he wasn't in it.
I want to know what people's favorite conspiracy theory is. This is definitely on the list of topics.
Oh man. I mean, it's hard because some are like,
I'll just direct you to Deus Ex, and that's that.
Deus Ex has too many. That's like, what's your favorite fish? And going, I'll point you towards the ocean. I'll do the alien pancake story.
Are you gonna have to give me a TLDR on that one?
There was a farmer in the 50s, I believe, in America, and he said that he was out in his yard when an alien spaceship came down, and some aliens came out. Though he only described the aliens as quote being quote direct quote, kind of Italian looking. And the aliens came up to him and they said, we need water. Could you please give us water? And he went, okay. And he brought like them a big barrel of water. And they had some kind of grill out there and they were cooking something. And he gave them the water. And the aliens said to him, oh, thank you. Here, take this. And they gave him a pancake. And they got back in their spaceship and they took off. And he said, he looked at this and he said, I need to call the government. And he did. And he showed them the alien pancake and they analyzed it. And the pancake was of no known wheat strain. They could not identify what the pancake came from. I have a picture of there he is with the pancake.
Oh fuck.
He looks so confused.
The thing is, it looks horrible. Like my theory is that it could be real and it looks horrible because the aliens didn't have water and they were really fucking up trying to cook their pancake. Like, we need water to make these.
But he gave them the water.
They just really wanted pancakes.
Yeah, it's like he gave them water, but they're already cooking. Like,
right.
It's like maybe they were just like some baked, spacefaring aliens, and they're trying to make pancakes. They didn't have water, and they just started cooking, and he got it. But he was also a wheat farmer who was very, very capable of making his own strain of wheat.
Mm.
It's a story it's so fucking stupid. I'm like, maybe there's something to this one.
This whole story sounds like an AI generated green text. I swear to God.
It really does.
Yeah, but it's like, it's so stupid. I'm like, if there's an alien encounter story, that's probably the most.
Yeah, it's like so bizarre.
The legitimate one.
It just sounds mundanely stupid,
Yeah.
The fucking.
What the aliens look like? Oh, they're kind of Italian looking. They made a pancake.
What does it mean? They're Italian looking.
He never elaborated. He just said that they looked kind of Italian.
Would be a shame if something happened to your farm.
Yeah, they wanted water. They gave me a fucked up pancake and they left. It's like, maybe they weren't aliens, but I'm sure something happened.
I mean, you would call the government, right? Like, what else are you gonna do?
It's like,
guys, you're not gonna believe what just happened.
But why?
It's like, if you're gonna make up an alien story to go to the government with, you'd think up something a little more like inspired or epic compared to, they asked me for water and they were making pancakes. Here's what they gave me.
You just know he ran inside to like his wife and kids. It was like, you'll never believe what happened to me. I was just minding my own business, tending to the chickens. Wait till you hear this.
We can't eat this.
Kids, we're eating good tonight.
It gives it to the government, and they're like, we cannot identify the strain of wheat.
That's the most like bizarre part of it. It's like this. That just gives it like that hint of credibility.
But it's also like he's a wheat farmer, so he might have strained some fucked up thing of wheat and said, this tastes awful. Maybe I'll say an alien made this bread. That worked out.
The other guys in like the wheat community don't think I'm a bad wheat farmer. Like, no, bro. Aliens made this wheat.
He's in 1955, log into our wheat. Talk about the aliens. It's not shitty, an alien gave it to me.
I really want to know how long it took for him to get the pancake to the government to be tested. Because the thing is, food goes off. So, like, how long did it take for him to like drive into the city? Approach.
No wonder it's so crusty. It's been in this car for like 3 weeks.
He approached like a police station or something and was like, I really need to speak to the government. I have this pancake. Can you like point me in the right direction? And they're like, no. I was like, but I really need this pancake tested by the government. It's going to go off. Like, you need to hurry up.
Maybe he had the aliens ship it to the government. It goes all the way to the top.
Puts it in an
Apparently
envelope.
The UFO report leaked about, and the government said that, he was in good mental health. He really believes that sequence of events happened, but we think it's some kind of hallucination followed by delusion. We don't know where he got that pancake, but fuck it. He has to be high or something. It's heat stroke.
Probably more, yeah, that's probably more likely.
This reminds me of the do any of you watch Super Eye Patch Wolf?
Yep.
I've seen it. Yeah.
Have you seen his fake psychics video where he talks about the $10 million government experimentation thing to try and prove that psychic powers exist?
the man who stare at goats kind of thing?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I haven't seen his video on it, but I'm familiar with that.
It's a great video. It's probably one of his better videos, to be honest. It's really good. But that whole session is he's just like, yeah, this happened. This is a thing that the government did for like 10 years. They spent millions of dollars on, and then at the end, it's just like, yeah, we couldn't confirm any statistical proof that this is a thing. It's like,
no,
nice. It's a great assignment.
That's how the Cold War
right
went. It's just like, oh, we better study telepathy in case they're studying telepathy. What if they find out something first?
Well, that was literally what it was. Apparently, there was a video that cropped up of a Russian lady moving something with her mind, and that was enough for the U.S. government to be like, okay, we got to get this. We got to get on this. Like, this little Russian lady, she's gonna take us out. We got to get our soldiers trained.
It'd be like watching a ghost hunting YouTube video and going, "Holy shit, we need to invest in this." Did you see that door move? Take money off the cat guided bomb. We need to put more money into ghosts.
It's actually a real pet peeve of mine that if because we've all done that thing where we search for our channel names at some point in our lives, because why not? Every time I have the same goddamn ghost hunting video has come up, I'm like, would you just
really
fucking go away? Like, every time it's like good and bad ghost. Ooh, I'm like, please go away.
I'm looking at that right now. Oh no, I'm getting your videos, but I also think that YouTube's kind of tailored to your stuff.
Yeah, you gotta do it in incognito mode.
Okay.
Oh no, that's exactly what because incognito will.
Oh, I'm still getting you. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
You might have you've broken the bad ghost curse.
There's also another one that always comes up, and it's the Michael Jackson song "Too Bad" from the short movie Ghosts. That always comes up. I'm like, oh great, that's a fine association to have right there.
Calling Zade at 3 a.m. challenge.
It's brackets. He answered.
Harvesters killed.
Did you ever have like issues with people trying to search up like the fall of Mandalore?
I don't know. That fucking TV show really changed my life, though.
Yeah, I can imagine.
The name is I'm sure I had heard the name from a Star Wars thing before, but at the time I thought it was just some fantasy thing. Because I might have heard it during a tabletop game or something. I was like, oh, that sounds cool. And then later I discovered what this fucking meant. And realized I was now stuck. I was like, oh, that's okay.
Back.
I was like, well, it's kind of a more obscure Star Wars thing. Like, it's probably fine. And then the fucking show came out. And I'll have, like... It's not even, like, YouTube commenters or something. I've gotten emails from people at, like, studios who are like, hello, Mando. We want to work with you.
Oh, no.
I'm like, oh, man. It's like, look, I'm not that into Star Wars. Like, it's fine.
I'm so sorry. You got the wrong guy.
It's pretty funny, though, so I can't complain.
Do you get lots of free Star Wars merch?
No, I've gotten zero Star Wars stuff and zero contact from any Disney anything, which is probably for the best.
I was gonna say, yeah, it's probably a relief.
Well, I think it's because I don't brand anything. I'm like, this is a Star Wars thing. I don't think they care. So I don't think I'm trying to infringe on anything, but if the day comes, we'll see.
Yeah, they're like, look, mate, you gotta change your name.
Yeah. That's happened before with some people. Usually it's when they're it's when you're being naughty, I think, the one companies will kind of come down on you. If like you're getting up to some shit using a vaguely branded name.
Well, my name is a reference to Seinfeld, so I don't think they'll come after me.
No. That was literally my question, yeah.
Yeah, the Summer of George, the Summer of Mark. Mark is a play on my real life name, so that's how I chose the name, because I didn't want to brand it specifically to gaming in case I will change my mind in the future and I want to do different content. But I'm stuck with games now, so
that was smart. You saw that door open at least.
Yeah.
What about Bad Ghosts? Where'd that come from?
It was a weird one, actually. It sounds extremely pretentious when I explain it, so bear with me. Yeah, it sounds extremely pretentious. So basically, we're gonna rewind like 10 years. I was listening to a Viggo Mortensen album, Pandemonium, I think, and
wait, the actor?
Yeah, yeah. He has a couple of albums where he actually often collaborates with Buckethead of all people. It's really interesting, and a lot of it is like spoken word stuff, but it's also like there's a song on Pandemonium at the end which is called Half Flings, and it is literally all of the voice actors who played the hobbits just making stupid noises throughout the majority of the song. It's such a strange ending to what is mostly a serious album.
That's so surreal.
Yeah, no, it's a really. I'll link it later. But on that album, one of the spoken word things, there's a line on there which is he's talking about all the serious shit like the Full Society and all that crap. And there's one line on there where all the serious things that we worry about from our day-to-day lives. But there's a line on there where he says, "We make bad ghosts," and I always thought I always liked that particular line. So, and it's stuck in my brain for ages. It just lodged there for ages on end, and eventually I just went back to it. I was like, yeah, why not? I'll take that.
You're like in that Leonardo DiCaprio pointing gif, like that's my name. That will be my channel. He just literally said the name of my future channel.
Funny thing is, I don't think I've listened to that song for like 6-7 years, but the phrase always stuck in my brain. It's just been there for ages.
That's a great name origin story. I really like it.
And I can't believe that album is a thing.
Yeah. Honestly, it's of the albums that he's released, it's probably the better one. None of them are bad, but you have to be in the right mood because it's pretty like I said, a lot of it's like spoken word and stuff, so you kind of have to be in the right mood for that.
I can't really deal with like spoken word music. I don't know, just like takes me out, which is probably the opposite of what it's intending to do.
I tend to fall asleep to it because it's a bit like a podcast.
Oh yeah.
Which I guess is what they'll be doing to this video when, this uploads, and then people will be like, "Oh, I fell asleep to you talking about cats and Sonic the Hedgehog."
Learning how I learned about YouTube, I learned about cats.
and space pancakes.
Yeah. Or was it just one? Or no, we're not going down this. No.
I think it was just one.
We're done with the pancakes.
Oh no.
I was going to say that my if I'm ever like need something to go to sleep to, it's always hold on, I'll find the exact name for you. It stays in my watch later. It's been there for years. Watch later. Relaxing walk across all cities in Cyrodiil brackets Peaceful Oblivion gameplay.
Oh, is that the one that I commented on Twitter? The guy who does like all the chill Skyrim videos and stuff.
That was a different one. That was an actual like playthrough. Yeah. This is just like some guys just in Oblivion, and he just like walks through the whole thing. And with YouTube Premium, you just like turn your phone off. But it kind of gives you a fright because like occasionally he'll open a door, or like an NPC will be like, "Hello," and it will be this like really loud. After like you have like the nice ambience, and the birds will be singing, and then you hear some like Britain be like, "Hello there," and it makes you jump.
Die, Fetcher! Ah!
It's a bit like the homeless lady in that game who, when she approaches you, she's like, "Could you spare some coin?" And you give it to her, and then you ask her for news, and she's like, "Oh yes, the best places are over here." And she completely changes voice actor, and it's so jarring.
Please spare a coin. Have you heard of the rumors from the north?
I love it, like the behind the scenes. Todd Howard's like, "We just have enough room on the disc, so we just got like 8 people to record all the lines and just like divvied them up between the races and genders, so people just sound the same."
They literally just RNG'd it, and it's like, yeah, we'll just throw it in a generator and see where this ends up.
It's insane. They recorded their lines alphabetically.
Wait,
that's
what?
not a. Yeah, they recorded lines for Oblivion alphabetically. That's why they all sound. Ridiculous. They're alphabetical, but it had notes like angry, irritated, sad. So if they sound kind of out of context from one dialogue box to another, that's
Holy
why.
Shit. That makes so much
sense. They were just all alphabetical.
That makes so much sense. Whoa. Yeah.
Why would you ever do that?
Because someone thought this is efficient. There's so much writing. We don't need to give them the context. Just put mad. I can't wait for Starfield.
In a good way?
It's gonna be broken.
Whether or not it comes out before Star Citizen will be interesting.
It'll come out before Star Citizen.
The game is never coming out. I bought into Star Citizen in 2013, and I sold. It was like an investment in Bitcoin. Like I sold it like 5 years ago for like double the price I bought it because I bought it so early.
Yeah, you got your LTI.
Sold it on sold it on r/Star Citizen trades.
It's crazy now that people could say, "Oh yeah, I bought into that game 10 years ago." Just like I've invested, I sold when my Hornet was high.
It's like Star Citizen was NFTs before NFTs were a thing.
Oh god,
it's like the OG of that concept.
I'm genuinely surprised they haven't done any like Web3 shit with Star Citizen. It seems like the perfect like fucking place for it.
Yeah, but it gets so much shit for that.
I mean, they already have. They don't care.
No, I don't think every time like I'll probably go on that subreddit like Star Citizen like maybe once a year. You know, like go on. It's just like it's exactly the same.
Right,
like top posts are just like, wow, this game looks so beautiful, and it's just like spaceship in space, and it's like, wow, this game's so buggy, and it's like spaceship exploding when someone puts an ATV in it, and then that's it. It's just the same every year.
So there is a playable prototype, right?
Yeah,
play an alpha or something, or
yeah. They're getting features. They're getting like some pretty neat features in. The problem is the actual scope of where this has to go is insane still. They've gotten like a few planets done, I think, but they promised like I think over 100 star systems that would be like customized. Like it's out of control how far the scope is.
They just can't like control themselves.
Speaking of out of control, should we go back to the first question?
Right. What was the first question?
Yeah, so how do you get into making YouTube videos?
Seemed fun.
Unless anyone wants to add to if they have a fun story about how they got into making YouTube videos.
It's not really a fun story. I found myself with lots of free time because I lost my job. So yeah, I was like, I'd wanted to make YouTube videos for a while. I actually had another channel in 2016 with Let's Plays, but that didn't really work out. They're all private.
What did you play?
Mostly indie stuff, roguelites, a bit of Crusader Kings 2 here and there. So yeah, I wanted to make videos for a while. I had lots of games in my Steam library, so I just wrote my first script, and that's how the first video came to be. And then I just like went on from there, and it's like I'm 3 years later and I'm still doing this.
Had you made videos before, like personally, or apart from like,
no,
actually edited videos, or just?
I just literally, like, when I had the Let's Play channel, I would just record myself talking and just dump it on YouTube without any editing. So, but I had some experience writing reviews, music reviews, gaming reviews. So yeah.
What was your first video?
Urban Chaos. It's a third-person action adventure from 1999. Pretty obscure. It was made by the guys who made Startopia, if you know that game.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah. The Douglas Adams inspired RTS.
Startopia is fun.
Yeah, and I don't know. I have a personal connection with that game because it was one of the first games I played as a kid. So it just seemed like a, natural choice for a first video. And I'd written a bunch of articles about it before making that video, so I was familiar with the mechanics, the secrets, and all the stuff that would be relevant to the video. So that's how I got into YouTube.
Yeah, nice.
Nice.
I'm just looking back at your catalog now. I think, like, man, I haven't played a lot of these games. So I feel bad for not playing Disco Elysium.
Disco Elysium is fucking brilliant. I love that.
Everyone tells me, like, you really need to play the best game ever made. I'm like, yeah. I just finished the Outer Wilds, though.
You can see my profile picture on Discord, so
yes, it is. Yeah, that tipped me off.
Appropriate. Outer Wilds is fucking great too, though.
It is really good.
That is a fantastic video game.
You should play that. Don't look up anything. Just play it.
Yeah.
Is it a play it for myself kind of video game, or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was considering making a video about it, so I don't know if
just go into play it. Like it's you can't really talk about it until you play it.
Word, eh?
No. When you just go into play it and then after see if you want to do a video about it, because wanting to replay it especially is like, man, you can't really replay it. Well, you can, but it's going to be different.
Okay, I'll go ahead and do it. Like, not right now, but
yeah.
Yeah, right. Bye, guys.
Just disconnect.
So ask Outer Wilds fans about Outer Wilds. They will tell you literally nothing about it.
They'll tell me game good, play.
Did anyone else here play it on a mouse and keyboard?
Absolutely not. When that said, because I played they had like a demo version a decade ago or so when it was still like an educational game, which was also played on controller. But even then, like they're like, do not use mouse and keyboard for this. Did you play it in mouse and keyboard?
Yeah.
Why? It's so much worse. It's horrible.
That's exactly what my mates told me, who told me to play it otherwise. They're like, play it with a controller. I'm like, okay. I just can't do controllers. I finished Dark Souls, mouse and keyboard.
Whoa.
Outer Wilds, mouse and keyboard. Except for that one part we have to use.
Yeah, but let's. It's like I don't use controllers often either, but it's just.
I know I know.
It's built around a controller and really intuitive. Like, oh, use like your triggers, like for your jetpack. And you can like rotate yourself like that. It's like made really to be nice and pleasant and simple with a controller, and a fucking nightmare if you use a keyboard. And then they drop a Souls game right after that.
Yeah, I beat all of Dark Souls 1, mouse and keyboard.
Aren't those like caps locks open inventory and just like the worst?
It's horrible. Yeah, it sucks.
Because I played it on launch, the first one before even like the player patches came out and stuff, and that was like the most Japanese PC control scheme.
Yeah, all the UI was still on like console buttons.
Oh man.
I don't know. I just can't do control. There's something about it. I just like cannot get over like the imprecise nature of them.
Strategy games have broken your brain.
They really have.
Yeah.
They've really ruined me.
Too much.
You have to play Universe at War on an Xbox to fix yourself.
Oh, that's on the list to play. But I don't know anything about it. I always just thought it was Supreme Commander when I was a kid. It's like, the cover's the same.
The cover looks very similar. Yeah. Very different game.
Have you ever tried playing an RTS on like a console?
This is a horrible admission.
Terrible.
I had the PlayStation 2 disc version of Age of Empires 2. I paid 90 New Zealand dollars for it. It's the worst game I ever bought. It's just terrible.
I never had came out on consoles.
Yep.
Only PS2. It was what you'd expect.
That was my introduction to Age of Empires, and then I realized real quick that this should not be my introduction to Age of Empires.
But I played what was it? I played Command and Conquer on N64 once. Like after I had played. I had the
PS1 version.
Yeah, after I had played like Tibbs Son and Red Alert 2. I went, oh cool, I have Command and Conquer on N64. What will this be like?
I can't remember the name of it.
Nightmare.
I can't remember the name of it, but it was awful. It was so painful to play.
I mean, there aren't that many like console RTS.
Just like Halo Wars. Yeah.
Halo Wars is like the big one because they went, we're gonna really try to make this work.
It's pretty good, honestly. Like I played a bit of Halo Wars 2 on the Xbox when I reviewed it a couple of years ago. It's like, this is fine. Like I'd still rather play it on mouse and keyboard, but it's fine.
It's funny to spam ODST, but yeah, it's like the control scheme works fine. They made it work. Before it's just like they're all so awkward. AVP Extinction was okay. That one they had figured out a little bit.
I need to play that. I missed that completely. Although I saw you reviewed Isolation, and I need to watch that video. It's my favorite modern horror games, so I really need to watch that video.
Yeah.
But
apparently they made recently, there's a mod that adds like 3 to 5 aliens now when you play Alien Isolation. It's like, 5 aliens
like from the beginning.
Yeah, like when there's an alien encounter, there's now like multiple of them. And now like, by the way, Working Joes will run at you. I think they just called it Aliens Isolation.
But that kind of spoils the app boss.
Yeah, doesn't that run counter to the game's purpose design though?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. But it's just this recent thing. Like there are still people digging around modding it because everyone's trying to make the perfect alien because like they're tweaking this and that value. Since all CA games are very moddable, but someone went off, fuck it, just add more. That'll fix it.
Maybe it's because I was going to say, maybe it's just because we never got the sequel. Like we got the handheld mobile thing, but yeah.
Yeah, Zade made a video on the Blackout. What's it called? Yeah. What was it? Oh no, it was a
I think it was Blackout.
Was it Blackout?
Oh no, Blackout's the new one. An Alien Isolation.
Are we talking about the mobile port?
Mobile something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just
Alien Isolation Disappointment.
It was just called Alien Isolation. And this is
Blackout was a different thing. Okay.
Oh yeah, no.
I never played Blackout. I thought that might have been Blackout.
The team-based thing.
Right, because Blackout's an actual like sequel. But
it's its own separate thing.
The Battle Royale for a sec.
Oh man.
Aliens Battle Royale.
That could be neat, honestly.
We make that joke, but Fortnite will probably buy the rights at some point and put them in there. They've just got.
They already have it.
Yeah, I think
they already have it. Actually.
Oh, okay.
People dunk on Fortnite. I got a lot of respect for Fortnite. They really got the hustle down.
I saw a year ago. There was like a xenomorph holding up a civil rights like sign in front of the "I Have a Dream" speech. Yeah, there it is. That was how I learned the xenomorph was in Fortnite. Because it and Rick Sanchez were learning about civil rights together in Fortnite.
I love his posture. That's like Alien 1979 man in a suit sitting there on his break posture right there. Like can somebody get me a drink with a straw? I don't have to take this fucking thing off.
Like they don't even have the backwards legs or anything. It's just the original suit.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Is that Aaron Signal? Aaron Signal?
Oh, it might be, yeah. I just looked for the image of Xenomorph civil rights and it came up.
I love his channel. He makes great stuff.
All right, back on topic.
I didn't want to be the person to say.
No, I don't want to be the only person to say it, because I feel like I'm the one who's ruining the fun on talking about the alien xenomorph civil rights.
Alien civil rights.
All right.
For xenomorphs.
No. All right, I got something I want to know. What is... I kind of know the answer already, but I don't want to hear someone depth. What's your least favorite part of making videos? I know everyone's going to say editing, but it's got to be better than...
Audio.
Okay, that's fair.
Audio can fucking die.
We need to talk about this, because I think audio is totally fine. So either I'm doing something completely wrong and my audio sucks, or I'm going to like make your day right now.
What's your least favorite part then, Zade?
Script writing.
YouTube.
Yeah, playing the game.
That's interesting. I really
script
like
writing.
Script writing.
I hate script writing. It sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
That's like one of the best parts for me. That's
really?
Interesting.
And there's like the struggle of like what to say, but I get being like, man, why won't this just fucking happen?
Yeah, that's probably more like, it's like, you say like writer's block, I guess, and like sit down and like, often like I'll just go for a walk and I'll just like, I'll get my phone and I'll just write. It's not quite gibberish, but it's almost gibberish. It's just so I can like get something on the page, and then I'll get back to the computer and like clean it up and make it an actual script. Sometimes it just won't. It's just, I find it quite hard to like communicate ideas sometimes. I think the hardest part is actually like I feel like I need to give context to everything. Oh, what if someone like hasn't played like a shooter before and they need to know how to reload their gun? Like I need to type this out.
Oh yeah, that's always a weird balance to find with that kind of stuff. It's like, have they seen the old videos? I shouldn't tailor it for that. I should do this.
I want to hear about audio. Why do you guys hate audio?
you don't hate hearing the sound of your own voice over and over while editing
I'm used to it, you know.
Editing out the mistakes and the noises and the breaths and the reasons why you want to jump out a 4-story window.
Yeah, it's like you hear other people talking, you don't give it a second thought. If you hear yourself talking, you're like, oh, why did I do that?
Yeah, okay, I do hate that.
It's like, oh, why does my mouth sound so wet? And then you do it again. Why does my mouth sound so dry? That breath sounded weird.
I listen to myself talking, and I'm like, that guy talks like a fucking idiot.
This is why I can't go back and watch any of my old videos ever, because there was a period of time where I got so heavily into trying to quote clean up the audio that I really fucked it up. So there's like a year's worth of videos which are just have terrible audio, and they're there now. I can't do anything about them, but I've learned my lesson, I guess. What's funny though is that I was an idiot because I think when I had like 700-800 subs, I reached out to Mandalore. I was like, "Hey, hello, I'm a new person here. Can you check out my shit?" And I had just released like the Doom 3 video. And that was right in the heart of that terrible audio period where it was just getting worse and worse and worse. I look back on that now, I'm like, my man, you did the bad choice then. That was silly.
That was fine. I mean, when I've gotten like people ask me to look at stuff, usually the audio is like in such a pit. I'm not used to like hearing it cleaned up at all. Like I wish I could recreate it.
I record in a living room and I have 3 huge windows in front of me. So there's nothing I can do about the audio. I've learned to accept that. So I just do my best to remove
the curtains up or something.
I mean,
curtains will dampen it a little bit.
I can, but it doesn't affect much. So I've learned to accept my limitations and just go with it.
Welcome to my review of Halo Wars 2.
Oh.
What's your process to go see? Oh, so you record a script, right? You've got your MP3 file.
So I actually record. I've tried audio editing in Premiere before, and I find I can only do half of it. So I use an old copy of Audacity still. I record into Audacity and I do some basic tweaking, like checking the volume levels, the compression, the words. It's not a filter curve, but it's actually a name for something else completely. But basically, I'll do all that basic shit there, and then I'll just edit out all of the breaths and stuff. I'll try to do that as quickly as possible. Then I'll throw it into Premiere and throw all of the other cleanup stuff on it, and that'll get about 90% of the stuff that I want gone. And then I just like tweak manual stuff if needs be. But beforehand, I was over editing everything so much. It was taking me forever just to finish like a 10-minute file because I just got obsessed with putting this on there and that on there and this on there, and I was making it progressively worse. But because it was like a slight inclination with every new video, I didn't realize it until I went back and was like, oh fuck, I did bad.
That makes
at least you're putting an attempt in. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong because all I do is remove my breaths manually between sentences, remove the background noise, and then I just export the file, and that's it.
That's fine.
I still hate it.
I do even less.
Hate it.
Honestly, if you just know how to use a noise gate, that puts you ahead of like I don't want to say like ahead of like everyone doing stuff, but the amount of people uploading videos onto YouTube is absurd. Just like the amount of content is fucking staggering. Just having a noise gate puts you ahead of so many people.
Well, thing is, I know many people listen to videos on shitty headphones, or below average headphones, like normal cell phone headphones, speaker. Whatever. So maybe if you had your audio is below average, it doesn't really matter because the devices people use are also not top quality. So that's why I don't worry so much about audio quality.
It's a fair reason, I think.
If that
most
makes
people aren't
any
listening
sense.
on like studio monitors, like in a dampened room. Like I think if you get most of the way there, no one's gonna notice.
I'm always keeping an eye on it. Like with every video, I'm always just like, I have everything preset now, so I have all the presets made to stop myself from like going over the top and adding what doesn't need to be added. But even
I'm gonna
now,
convince you
like,
to move to resolve with this one sentence right here. So they just
fire
added a voice isolation tool, and it's like literally the most idiot-proof voice cleanup I've ever used.
Oh man.
It's literally one dial, 0 to 100. You just turn it on. It like cleans up your audio like immaculate. It's amazing.
that does sound pretty tempting.
I can't believe how good it is. And it removes background noise just like it's mental. It's so good.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with where things are now, but I've always like audio has always been the thing that I've struggled with the most. It's always been my pet peeve, and it's always been the thing that's tripped me up.
I think I definitely undercook it. Can be like I don't do. I record in Audacity and I send it. That's that's it. Like I send it out to Resolve or Premiere or wherever, and then I'll just like chop it up and remove like if there's. I feel like you get pretty good at just like not breathing in a script. Like you can breathe kind of quietly, and it makes it a bit easier. But yeah, just gonna send it out, cut it up a bit, and then maybe put on like a noise reduction if it needs it.
No, yeah, to be fair. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say most people I've talked to about it, it's either audio or writing. Usually audio by a larger margin, but the other big annoyance is usually like, oh yeah, I get bad writer's block. And if it's not that, it's always audio. Everyone seems to like editing when it comes down to it.
By the time I get to video editing, I am already looking forward to starting a new project because I just want to get it over with,
When you get to that finish line and it's done. Oh,
yep.
I like dreaming about the next project while working on a project going, I can't wait to work on that one. And they start working on that one going, wow, I can't wait to work on this next thing instead.
Just goes forever.
The Ring.
Yep. Please.
The thing with script writing, and I don't know whether or not I can chuck this back at you, Zade, for whether or not it helps or not. The thing with me that I find is that so whenever I'm playing a game, I always have my notes app open on my phone. So whenever I have like a nugget of like a train of thought, I'll just immediately pause the game, write it down, and then continue. And that might sound like really jarring if you're constantly starting on the game, but actually, like when it comes to the script, if I've got like a page's worth of like half formed sentences and things already there, I can then throw those into Word and start to build on them, and those are like thoughts and ideas and points that I wanted to highlight that were created in the moment, and that really helps for me because then I can just like, but when I was more rigidly segregating the gameplay, the story XYZ, I could then throw those into those sections and then just run with them, and that really helped to get over a form of block.
Yeah, I do
write
something
my
similar.
scripts. I write my scripts stream of consciousness style. I just vomit words on the page, and then I go back to my footage for specific examples, and then write those in the script, and that's my process. And most of my scripts I write them on my phone. By the way, it's just
nice.
Oh man,
I'm probably 50-50 phone computer. Yeah.
It feels comfier to me than sitting at the computer. I just lay in bed and write my scripts on my phone.
Yeah, it's funny, Ghost, you mentioned that. I actually started doing that for my last video, the one I'm working on right now, which is Dawn of War 3. And that script is really long. It got like 9,000 words, and I wrote it like faster than the last script that I'd done that was 4,000 words, and I had like 2 pages of word notes of like all these things I wanted to put in that I'd gone as I went. It was great.
My latest script
really
has 9,000 words, and I think 7,000 of those words I wrote on my phone. Oh, yeah.
I could not do that. If I'm typing more than 3 sentences on a phone, I'll start fucking up.
That's when you clean it up, like afterwards. Like you like seeing a script that I've like written on my phone, and you bring it to the computer. There's like so many red underlines that like half the screen is red.
Just gone.
Do you guys write scripts in order? Do you go start to end, or do you just jump around everywhere?
Start to end, personally. But I will have occasional moments where I'm like, oh yeah, I should mention that later, so I'll put that down. But 9 times out of 10, I'm going from A to B.
Same. I rarely have a full script written down. I leave a lot of room for improvising based on clips.
Really?
Because when I'm going through editing, I'll have a general outline of points and stuff and like little parts. But sometimes I'm looking at footage, I might notice something that's like kind of fucking weird, or just something like, what's that about? And so I'll usually leave space. Yeah. So there have been times where I've gone like, there have been times where there are genuine takes that I've just left in the videos. I've been like, what the fuck's going on over there? And that's like actually like live reading it with the footage. So a lot of times I'll actually be recording it while looking at what the footage is supposed to be. So it's kind of more it takes a lot more time, which sucks, but it allows me to go like, oh, this can really match up to what's happening. And if something happens in the background, I could actually see it and go, wait a minute, this can go in the script too.
I think that actually, like, now thinking back to videos of yours that I've seen, I think that now explains some of like my favorite moments where it's almost like an out of context statement that doesn't really have like any direct connection with anything you would then just talking about, but it's more like a reaction, and that now makes a lot of sense, and it does make it more fun.
Yeah, because the way I formatted it is more like, it's sort of like if I sat down and got my notes together and was explaining to a friend on a couch what's going on with this thing. It's like I kind of like the idea of being able to actually react to footage like that. So it's like if something does happen, I could just kind of off the cuff be like, wait, what the fuck's going on there? Anyways, back to what I was saying. So it makes it a little more organic, I think, which is fun. But again, it's so much easier if you just have something written down and you can just go A to B, then match it up later. So it's a terrible process I do not recommend.
How much time do you guys spend on editing scripts? Like, I don't know. I usually just
not
spend
a huge amount.
10 minutes, and then I go and record the script, because writing is very hard as it is, and I don't want to go into a rabbit hole, a black hole where I constantly try to readjust my thoughts and my arguments, and I just go with it.
My best tip that I can give you, when I was a freelance music journalist writing a lot of music reviews, like we're talking like 5-6 years ago, one of the things I started doing, which I still do to this day, is once you finish your script, put it in Word and play it through with the text to speech function, and just sit back and listen. And what that does is that detaches your brain from the script that's doing all the work of reading it. So you sit back and you basically take on the form of the spectator, and you are listening to it. And you will then start to note, you'll start to notice things like, oh yeah, maybe that sentence is a bit weird, like, and you didn't think about it when you were reading it, because all of your energy in your brain is going into reading it. But when you sit back and you listen to it, and you sort of look away from the screen, and you're just letting it sort of flow, that's when you start to pick out little things as like, oh, maybe that's not the best way I could have said that. And that really helps me. So every time I finish the script, I'll then let it run through. And text to speech, like, it used to be terrible before. It's actually not so bad now. Like the Microsoft Word's version of it is fine. So you can get away with you can get away with like 90% of things in there without it sounding too weird.
And you're still detached from it, which is smart.
Yeah.
Maybe
the only time it's funny. Sorry, go on.
Maybe your method will save me from those moments where I'm writing a sentence and I'm thinking, this is the best fucking sentence I've ever written. This is literally the writing extraordinaire. And then I go to record, and the sentence sounds so bad. Like so bad, but it looks good on the page, but when you get to actually recording it, it sounds like dog shit and you have to delete it.
That's
To change it up,
exactly
you
it.
know?
That's exactly what that does. It kind of exposes those moments where it's like it looks good on paper, but when you hear it and you're not the one reading it, you then suddenly go, that sucks. Why did I write that?
Yeah. So I moved to outlining over overly scripting things, because it's like what sounds good in your head written down is so different when you have to speak it aloud.
Yeah.
Or just like you could write in tongue twisters and not even realize it. You'll get caught up on the stupidest sentence, and it's like, man.
Like you do like double S's, words that end with S and start with S, and immediately you're like, huh?
As a non-native speaker, those are the worst for me.
There's too many sentences ending with the same sound. How did this happen? Why is it rhyming? Stop.
It's good. Yeah, I might have to implement that. I actually quite like the sound of that.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many words that are so hard to pronounce for me as a non-native speaker that it led me to like avoid covering some games. Like I hate the way I pronounce the word world, and that's why I avoid covering the Outer Worlds, because I just hate how I pronounce that word. So I'm just gonna never cover that game. I try to avoid that word as much as I can.
So you're going to see the 4-hour World of Warcraft retrospective.
Oh god, World of Warcraft. No.
So I remember Arx Fatalis. I was sure it was called Fatalis. I'd heard developers call it Fatalis, but some people would go like Arx Fatalis. And I went, fuck it. I'm never saying the full title of this game in the video, and I just didn't.
That's why you call it Arx?
Yeah, I just call it Arx. That's why. That's when, fuck it. No one will care. I'll just call it Arx.
Funny, I've had a similar moment, and I made a video about Murdered Soul Suspect recently, and I hate the way I pronounce the word murdered. It's impossible for me, so I just call it Soul Suspect in the video.
That works. I mean, I guess if you do mispronounce things, people will correct you in the comments, and it's like, all right.
Thanks for the engagement, boss.
Yep, exactly.
I know some people intentionally mispronounce a word in like the most fucked way imaginable just to get those.
You fell right into my trap.
I have that for scripts whenever I want to say decade. I just drop it in because then I get like 100 comments of like, he said dickhead.
That reminds me of the that Joseph Anderson moment. I can't remember which video it is, but he says the facade. And he continues for like 15 seconds, and then he'll go back and go, yeah, and I know I said facade, I just wanted to drive you crazy.
Based.
I just realized it's like 2 a.m. where you're at, isn't it, Zade?
Yeah, this was originally when we were going to begin.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that?
This is when it would start. 8 a.m. here.
So you've been up all night, is it?
Yeah, I also had I had an unusual day yesterday where I slept in really late. Then last night I somehow slept for like 14 hours, something ridiculous. Nice. Like I haven't slept that long, and I have not slept that long in ages. I was like, man, I'm up at like 4 p.m. now. This is unusual. So yeah, I guess I'll stay up till this. So you do the loop,
and then you like
my sleep schedule's gonna be not fun for next few days, but that's fine. I mean, doing this, I'm sure we all have horrendous fucking nightmare sleep schedules.
Oh yeah.
What's your worst
so nice to record at night
schedule story?
Oh man,
I want to hear everyone's like, I stayed up for X hours to produce a video that went 10 of 10 of the last 10 videos.
I've kind of already told mine, so the floor's yours.
Yeah, 3 months of that is pretty nuts.
I mean, the worst I've done was stay awake until 5-6 a.m. to release a video, and then I had to go to work at 8 a.m. So
yeah, that was
fun. I'm never doing that again. It's not worth it. It's literally not worth it.
It's never worth it, eh? Like at the time you're like, nah, I got to do it. Then you're like, why did I do that?
Yeah, if it's like 11 p.m. and something goes wrong, I'm not losing another night for this. I just leave it for the next day.
It's funny how you'll like wave through that. Yeah,
I feel like this is actually a really good time to as we're talking about sort of the jump in of commitment on producing the videos. It feels like a really good time to jump into that, like dealing with the potential possibility that a video is going to bomb, because when you put in all of that work and effort, and it, you know, you get it to the end, it's like, I think this is pretty good. I think people like this, and then it goes straight to the bottom of that little evil counter that everyone hates.
10 of 10, baby.
Oh yeah.
I can't relate to that because all of my videos bomb. So no.
Oh, come on now.
No,
I'm joking. I know what you're saying. No, I just learned to not. I mean, I say I don't care, but I do care. So, you know how it is.
It's hard to like look away from it, eh?
You've got to find a floor you're happy with, basically, because it's like I've gone quite a bit with YouTube now. The thing is, I could still clearly remember being like fucking stoked for like 3,000 people watching my video and like that kind of thing. But then it's like when you start getting up there, I know people who will be like, oh man, this video is fucking tanking. I'm like, what do you mean? Like 300,000 people watch that. Are you kidding me? But it's like if you keep your, I guess, success ceiling high, you're not happy with the floor, it's an unwinnable game. Because it's like, yeah, of course. It's like people get millions and millions of views on like doing, like, if you're a big Let's Player, like one of the top ones, they get on like top 10 trending, they get like 2 million views in a day or something, and it's like, sometimes no matter what, yeah, you will I don't want to say like, be mean, like, oh, you'll never be the best on YouTube, but realistically, you are not going to be number one on the website.
No, so it's like Mr. Beast video today. You crushed a Lamborghini with a freaking hydraulic press. Like, you know, we're not gonna do that.
Is your review of this game from 2003 as cool as Mr. Beast blowing up 400 trucks?
Yeah, it's got that wide appeal.
Exactly.
I think that's part of the part of the being sort of realistic about what you're doing is also to appreciate the fact that you are a niche. You are working with a niche. Like a lot of my videos, like especially not so much now because I've branched out a little bit and I've been doing a few more modern things, but a lot of my videos have been indie unknown things that it's like nobody knows about this game. Fuck it.
Yeah,
I'm going to talk about it because I want to talk about it.
Those are tough because people aren't like recurring searching for them unless something happens, like it goes on Steam or God picks it up or something.
Yeah,
but that's where it gets really interesting because sometimes you will get one of those where it's like suddenly
something
like,
happens
popular.
with it.
Yeah, it's really strange. Like the Milk series, is by all rights a series that I expected to just be like, I'm just gonna do a video on this. I like it, and I doubt anyone will see this. It's like my top video, apart from the big one.
Wow.
And that was a video that I produced like really quickly and did not expect anything from it apart from, hey, I liked working on this. So it's interesting how you set your own like expectations and then the rug just gets pulled out from under you and something else happens.
Yep, some sequel, remake, something gets free on Epic, some other YouTuber covers it. You never know.
I had a Total War Shogun 2 go free on Steam the day after I made a
I remember that. On it.
Yeah, and it went from like 10 of 10, and now it's my third most popular video ever, 400,000 views.
Yeah.
It was like, what?
Nice.
It was so bizarre. It just went from nothing, and the view curve just went like vertical.
It is interesting though that like when a game goes free, how people rush on YouTube to look up a review of it. Like, is this any good?
Is this worth zero money from my pocket?
Is this worth adding to my library?
It's 7 gigs of hard drive space.
But that is the biggest boost. Like if I'll see a video suddenly, if I see some bizarre jump, I'll be like, it's free on Epic. Like Sunless Sea, it's free on Epic. They're not. There's no way something's happening there. I remember a few years ago there was that guy who made that 4-hour video about Oblivion.
Oh, that's a great video games. I watched the whole thing.
And like that was just randomly recommended like to everyone 4 years after it came out, and not in like a particular like fun to shit post about Oblivion season.
Is this a short review video?
No. It was
that's the 10-hour one, I think.
Oh no, it's 5
okay.
hours. Pardon me. It's the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion retrospective. It was made 6 years ago, but I think 2 years ago or so, it gained a bunch of traction out of just nowhere. The dude hadn't been active on YouTube. Yeah,
they made only like 2 videos, I think.
Like he was inactive on YouTube for like years, and you're just like, hey, I don't know why this is getting views all of a sudden, but thank you. Like he wasn't doing shit. It just got picked up somehow.
I was thinking about the quick retrospective. It's 12 hours.
Yeah.
I cannot fathom making a video that long.
Well, I love Morrowind to death, but it's like, man, I don't know if I could sit down and watch.
What was it saying about? I was just going to say, what was it saying about every minute's an hour?
Christ.
Yeah,
man.
it's like, man.
The longest video I've made is just under an hour, and even that was like, this is like an event of a video.
Yeah.
Once I finished it, I was like, I'm never making a video that's even close to an hour, and here I am. Like, this one's an hour, but 12 hours.
I mean, you could get a lot of time out of stuff if you go into like everything. It's just more of like. I do think about pacing, but also just like, is it worth getting into this if someone probably knows this kind of stuff?
I mean, that video has 3 million views, the 12-hour Oblivion retrospective.
Oh, yeah, I'd imagine.
I wonder what the average view duration on that one is.
Still waiting to see how long Joseph Anderson's Witcher 3 video is going to be.
Now that Witcher 3 has what is it? Got like an update, or it's getting a RTX thing or something.
2 days away.
Yeah.
I only recently watched his Witcher 1 and 2 video like this year, and I was like, oh yeah, there's been like a couple of years between each video. Like it'd be about time for this the Witcher 3 one to come out, right? And then I finished the Witcher 2 one. At the end, he's like, yeah, I expect the Witcher 3 video to be out in like a month. And it was in like 2020. Like, wow, something happened with that video.
I can't imagine making videos that long. I made a full series retrospective on Max Payne, on the Max Payne series. It's my longest video, 1 hour and 20 minutes. And by the end of that video, I thought I was fucking losing my mind. That video consumed me. And I was like you, Zade, I'm never gonna make a video this long ever again.
And then it gets that time, you're like, I just need to talk about this thing, and this thing, and this other thing.
Yeah. It's so easy to spiral.
Touching on the, we were talking about the algorithm a little bit, and
yes. I could talk about the algorithm forever.
No, well, I was just going to say, it reminded me, when we were talking about it, reminded me of Purposeless Rabbit Holes, because he was around for like 6-7 years before anything really came of it. And then all of a sudden, the algorithm just like, you have been chosen. And it just went boom, boom. And like literally his response was like, I don't know what I did differently, but hi. He went from like 2,000 or 3,000 to like 100,000, like a few months. It was insane.
Yeah, it happens sometimes.
Like you see the Salt Factory?
Yep.
Yeah.
He had an Oblivion video, and it's got 6 million views. That was his 4th video, and now he's like huge, 500k.
He makes great shit.
Yeah, they're all really good. It's like, I guess it's like at the end of the day, it's like you make a good video, and usually people will watch it.
That's the ultimate secret.
Just make good videos for you. It's so easy.
Crush a Lamborghini with a big press.
Everybody can do that.
Everybody can do that.
Just film yourself and your friends in a mansion doing stupid shit. Everybody can do that.
I knew you were going to bring that up. I knew you were gonna... because that was in the
Wolf video. Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
How do you guys deal with a 10 of 10? What do you do? What do you do when you get a 10 of 10?
Kind of like a
worst video.
Oh, I thought you meant like a score, like someone gave me a 10 out of 10.
No, this is the wrong kind of score.
How do you suffer from success?
Quite the opposite. Plays in the back of your head.
Like, so I've always wondered. Like, I think you always like to think like, oh, when my channel is like X big, or I have X many subscribers, like a 10 of 10 won't matter. But I presume it does.
Honestly, it for me it really doesn't. Because, like you said, weird shit can happen. And usually it's like sometimes I'll know when something's not gonna hit as hard if I'm like, oh, okay, this is sequels for some reason don't do well for the most, unless it's like if it's like Silent Hill 2 or something where it's like the big one people talk about. But if you do a video and follow up with sequel for some reason, generally it seems people go, it's like 2, who cares? But if it's like not a 2 and it's like a named thing, like Thief was one I think that was like that, or like Deadly Shadows. It's not Thief 3, people went to that because it doesn't seem like you need to know the original that well, or if it's like the bad one, there's something notable about it. That's why I got it's 10 out of 10. It's like that also measures. It's what's the word I'm looking for? When you grade like on a scale. So it's like if your videos are doing fucking amazing, like you're getting, let's say every video is getting like 5 million views, and then you put out one that has 4 million. It's like, oh, there's your 10 out of 10. It's like it's designed to make you keep chasing things. And then it'll loop around to where if everything's flatlining, then suddenly something will be, oh, it's your 1 out of 10. Like it's the biggest video you've made in the past 10. But it's like it's still not doing great. So it doesn't really matter ultimately. So it's nice you get the little fireworks show. It's like, you got your 1 out of 10, but
you get like just confetti and stuff. Yeah.
Just conditions you to push yourself, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean it's a ever shifting scale, which is what drives a lot of people crazy. And also, like I said, you need to find a floor you're happy with, because everything is geared to make you keep chasing something that you will never ever get to, because there is not like there's no ceiling of, you did it, you're here. You have to just decide that. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that
so was go, if the video gets 100 views, I'm happy. That's like, find that where it's reasonable, then just try to stick with that.
I mean, that was a big part of. Sorry, go on.
Like if one of my videos gets 500 views in the first 2 days, I'm happy, because it's really good for my sub count.
Yeah,
I remember having 2 subs and no views, so this is definitely better than, you know.
I mean, if you think about it, like if you were like doing a report or some kind of thing, you had a room of like 200 people watching. Like that's a pretty big crowd.
I'd die of anxiety. I know. It would be fucking terrifying.
Yeah. Like internet numbers it's so easy to not actually visualize how many people that really is, because it's unfathomable. It's like Zade, like, oh, my Shogun video got 400,000 views. It's like
it's insanity. It's like 400,000
people.
Like in the city I live in now, it's like more people than
this. That's the population of Iceland.
Mm-hmm. It's like you don't really think about it, like visualizing, like, oh, if 100 people watch your video, like how many people that really is. It's like that's pretty neat, but again, it's just trying to think smaller makes you appreciate it more.
What was your breakthrough video, Mandalore?
The thing is, I don't know if I really had one that was like, I know the Total War Warhammer 2 one did pretty well, like as far as speed of stuff, but it wasn't really like I had some video that was like an overnight explosion kind of thing. It just happened to, it's like I'll do whatever games, but over time people were just searching up those whatever games. It just sort of accumulated slowly. It's like I've known people who have done like, they do the video and they get like 80,000 people in a month or something like that subscribe, and they'll just have like these insane overnight explosions. And I never really had that, but so I don't really have like a video I could think of that was like, oh, I finally made it. It just sort of happened one day. I sort of looked at it and went, oh, this is sustainable now, where I could actually put more like attention on this. Like I could maybe live off this partly.
Because wasn't Limbo of the Lost like one of the first, if not the first, to hit 1 million? Just trying to think, because that
it might have,
didn't it?
It might have. Honestly, I don't even know if it could have. It was so long ago now that I don't know. I think that if it had, it wouldn't surprise me, because it was like a longer one. It was really fucking strange. But I can't remember off the top of my head, because that was, oh god, how long ago was that now? 4 years? So that one did exceptionally well too, which was a shock. But I guess that could count maybe, but it was like I was already at at least a few 100K by then. So I don't really count that, I guess, when you're already sort of established. Because like Ghost, when your Silent Hill 2 video, that must have been fucking nuts and really nice after all those months of working on it.
It was interesting because it was extremely slow at the start. Because what happened is when I released it, so it was September. So September to November, it was a slow trickle. I think over that sort of 2 month period, it got like 2K views, and at the time, that was like still like my biggest thing. It was like, oh, nice, fantastic. Um, I have no idea what happened, but something happened in November for the algorithm just be like, hey, I like you. And then it was like 3 months straight of really good traffic. And then it got to January, Feb, and it just dropped off again immediately. It was so strange. So it was literally a flat line, a spike, straight back down again, flat line again. Really, really weird.
I think I know more people are generally watching YouTube in kind of the colder months like November, December, but that is strange.
Yeah, and like, it still gets like 200-300 views within a 48-hour period. So it's still trickling.
That's amazing.
In. Yeah, but
especially when it's like in such a competitive area like Silent Hill 2 stuff, like holy shit.
It was such a strange. I've never seen anything like it before, like activity wise. It was such a strange immediate spike up and then straight back down again.
It's
got
still
pushed to recommended,
though,
pulled back out.
Sorry.
What were you saying, Mark?
Like that's 200 views in a 48-hour window. That's pretty amazing. Like my channel gets 100. My whole channel gets 100 views per day. So to get 200 views from just one video, that's pretty good.
The interesting flip side to it is, and this isn't from a point of ungratefulness. This is a point of observation that ever since that video, it has completely eclipsed everything that has come since, and I think that's actually been it's been it has almost certainly been reflected in how the algorithm has treated the channel, because I noticed from like say November to February, I noticed I was getting pretty decent traction with things I was releasing, but then from like March onwards, flatline completely, and it's been like that ever since. And I think it's because that spike has not occurred again, that the algorithm has treated it as, well, you're kind of dead. And yeah, what are you gonna do? Can't really change it.
Could be. I don't know. It's a very mysterious thing. Sometimes people like not have something go well and then they'll put out something and it suddenly explodes back to life again.
So we were talking about the algorithm earlier, and we kind of touched on it, but when we were talking about like the dreaded 10 at 10, Super Eye Patch Wolf again, to mention the wonderful man again, because his video on the influencer thing and going into YouTube is fantastic, and he directly likens the YouTube studio side of things to basically online gambling, and he's totally right. It's all about the dopamine hits, and if I put XYZ in, am I going to win? Yeah, exactly. And about 2-3 weeks ago, I was genuine. I was like, you'll always get those low days where it's like, I don't know I don't know if I can keep doing this, and I uninstalled the studio app from my phone. So I don't want to look at this stuff anymore. And I immediately felt better. The last 2-3 weeks, I felt so good about working on things. That's not a coincidence.
Installing that fucking app was the worst mistake of my life.
The only thing that makes me fear fully removing it is is at least I've gotten like copyright notifications from it. If I didn't get those, that would be gone in a second. Because I've had times where it's like wake up at 8 a.m. and it's like, oh, you got your thing claimed. It's like, fuck.
I
but I could just check email. So yeah.
Yeah, I still have Gmail on my phone. So but I have it set to only notify me for priority stuff. So stuff direct, like for example, the Street Fighter video I made, I had like 3 or 4 copyright claims for that video, and every single time I was getting a notification from my phone like, "Hey, guess what? Lionsgate doesn't like you." It's like, for God's sake. It was really weird because it was the same like 90-second scene rather from that movie every time. They were only claiming that one scene. The rest of the movie, fine, go ahead. Put that on YouTube full length. We don't care. But that one scene, oh boy, can't show that.
So strange how they pick things out.
I got claimed for a diegetic song in my The Saboteur video. I made this really atmospheric and cozy intro. Thank you, intro, and it got claimed because there was a licensed song in the clip I was playing in the intro, and it was diegetic. I didn't download that song and like edit it in the video, and that was really stupid. I was really angry about that because they ruined my whole intro. I spent a lot of time working on that intro, and again, the song was diegetic. It was in the game.
Yeah,
that was so unfair.
That's why those games have a like streamer mode now. We could just turn it off because now it's like, oh yeah, they've realized it's a problem.
I'm kind of interested to see in the video I'm working on right now. I've got a clip from the World in Conflict cinematic trailer, and it's got freaking Shadow on the Sun by whoever sings that song in the trailer, and it's like I want to have like a 30-second cut of it because it's really good. It's relevant.
You're
and I'm
playing
like,
with fire.
Yeah, I'm gonna put it up. We'll just see what happens. I doubt it will
Audio
make it.
Slave.
Yes,
copyrighted music is like fucking dropping food on the floor rule. You have like, you're like, oh, if it's like 3 seconds, it's fine. It's like maybe.
Unless you use a Metallica song.
That was again my fear with, even though it was a cover of Break Stuff, like that I was fully prepared to. I have like a test account where I will throw stuff on there to see what happens. So I did the intro and put it on there. I was like, please don't get claimed. And it was fine. But because it's a cover of a known song, there's still the risk because some labels get really fussy with that stuff. And it's like, well, it's still technically our property because it's the same structure and lyrics and everything. It's like, really?
I mean,
I think it's fine. Like songwriting guilds and that kind of thing. It's like, I
imagine Fred Durst being part of so many guilds, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I was okay this time. He was obviously busy working on like a movie or something.
Maybe he watched your video and he was like, "Dude, I love this video. I'm gonna not personally claim this song."
I just, from the moment the sentence "Limp Bizkit combined with J.R. Tolkien" appeared in my brain, it was like, yeah, people are gonna hate me for this. I'm gonna do it anyway. Thank you.
Great video.
I was really happy with that intro. It was fun.
Where's that album that combines Wu-Tang Clan and Lord of the Rings? It's pretty good.
I'm a huge Wu-Tang Clan fan, so if you have a link, I'd love to see. Oh, okay.
There it
is. You hit that really fast. I'm just gonna say
he was prepared.
You were like on point with that.
In his shortcuts.
It's pretty fucking insane. It's like, this shouldn't work, and it it really does. So you can enjoy that in your time.
I'm going to refrain from playing it, otherwise it's going to capture in the desktop audio stream. I don't have a complicated mix setup.
Yep. Gmail comes up. You have had a copyright claim. Oh.
This question only exists because I have an interesting answer for it, but I'm sure everyone else does too. What is something that like the average viewer wouldn't realize like takes a lot of effort when making videos?
Just having words match what's happening on the screen.
I remember you made a video like 5 or 6 years ago. It was like how to make a YouTube game review or something.
Oh yeah,
I really like that video.
Yeah.
That video is
that's
great.
the point. You like hammered home. You're like, you must have what you were talking about on screen.
I used that video as reference when I made my first video.
Yeah,
and,
I did too.
You don't have to, but that was my pet peeve with that was that this one dude had like, what was it? It was some video on Killing Floor. I don't even know who made it. It's been so long now. They're like the weapons feel like shit, and they have no recoil, and you just like running around with a knife. I'm like, well, show me.
That's actually yeah, that for me is a big pet peeve. Like, for me, when I'm talking about something, I have to have what I'm saying reflecting on the screen at every possible opportunity, because otherwise it's like, the stealth in this game is really good, and on the screen it's like explosions. It's like,
yeah, exactly.
That really drives me insane. It's what I was saying. I can't remember who I said it to in text earlier. I think it might be Zade, where I was saying that I timestamp a lot of my footage clips. So, for example, like Shadow of Mordor, I had a lot of timestamps for, finishes and things like that. And then what I do is I literally just and I'll try and like be strict with myself with and have like the same word. So then I can literally type in my folder, beheading, for example.
And there it
is. And there it is. I've got like 10 clips with Talion taking off some heads, and that for me speeds it right up.
That's a great idea. I need to get on something like that.
I pull clips only, like, I edit tightly only if I talk about specific stuff. Like, if I say, when you swing this sword to the left, it spawns minions, I'm gonna show that fucking clip.
Oh, but yeah,
but if I'm talking about general stuff, like lore and shit, I'll just leave a longer clip. It's fine.
Oh, yeah, like there's fine to use B-roll, but it's usually when you're doing like you do, when you're making a point about something, saying, okay, I'll show the thing for this. Or if I don't have it, like something at least close enough to where you could like get the idea of it.
Yeah, you ever like editing and you like hear the line, you say it, and you're like, fuck, why did I say that? Now I've got to find this like super niche clip or go and like record it separately.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't I just say something more general?
The funniest thing is when like we've done something in a game like 400 times. You're like, oh, surely I have a clip of that. I have to. I open that so many times, and then you look and you don't. So I don't have one clip opening my inventory in an RPG. Are you shitting me? Where is it? I have to have one.
At the time, you're like, why would I ever record this? I do it so often.
Yeah.
I've had times when I've deleted entire sections from my video because I was too lazy to look for the clip when I was editing.
Instead of just putting in B-roll, you're like, oh, fuck it. That's not in the script anymore. Oh my God.
I would just like leave sections like through the editing process and be like, I'll edit that later, and I'll get to like the end of the video and like, I don't need that. Just delete it. Just get rid of it.
Have you ever had like an outline for a big like feature or like some like you're gonna go, oh, I'm gonna go really in depth in that, and then after you're in the video, you get to that part and you go, oh, fuck it, and you just go, this part's awkward.
Yeah.
It's like, the camera's kind of bad. Forget, like, fuck it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or you go the complete opposite. Like there'll be like 1 or 2 second bit, and you're like, I could just like achieve this by, like, I had an example today where in Dawn of War 3, I'm saying how the dreadnoughts are too shiny and they've just come out of like the Tesla Gigafactory, right? Like they haven't been scuffed up enough. So I got a drone clip of the Tesla Gigafactory and like motion tracked an Imperium logo onto the top. It took like 20 minutes for this bit that's like 1 second. I think I did it. I'm like, why did I do that?
Production value, it's fine.
Yeah, someone
will like that a lot.
Yeah, so one guy's gonna be like, yo, that's the actual Gigafactory.
Do you ever get those moments where you write a joke and you think this can be hilarious, and then when it comes to implementing that joke, you realize it's the worst thing you've ever written, and just like, why did I say this? But then on the flip side, like you'll have a moment where you're editing. It's like, oh yeah, what if I did this? And I can't remember what it was, but I think the favorite time that's ever happened is I had a Doom 3 joke and I hated it. So in the end, I just edited. So it was Ace Ventura punching off someone's head or something like that. I can't remember why that happened, but ever since then, it's like, it's really nice when like you're editing and natural jokes will just fly into your head, like, oh, what if I did this? And it's actually quite fun.
Funny you mention it because
plan it out.
I'm looking at my script, at my Bloodline script, and I know that half of these jokes won't make the final video.
Same. I do that all the time.
You'll spend the longest time workshopping something. And you go, "Oh, this is so clever," and then everyone loves the throwaway line you thought of in 2 seconds.
Yep.
It's so funny every time.
And you're like, yeah, what about the
It's
thing
like
I spent hours on there? What about that?
It's like people are quoting that. I don't even remember saying that. Did I say that?
Back to that original question, I want to give my answer because I feel like it's a. I hope it's something everyone can relate to because it drives me insane. So, like, do you understand when I say that if you like put a clip into the timeline, right? Do you spend like an inordinate amount of time going through each clip to make sure there's not like 2 frames at the end of the clip that like completely like changes camera angle or like jumps around or something?
God, my man!
That drives me insane.
They're called phantom frames, right?
It's like if you're running forward in an FPS and like you suddenly turn to the left all of a sudden, and like you don't want that because the transition looks like dog shit if you keep that in.
Yeah.
Or a scrap of a subtitle will appear and it's like, that does not need to be there anymore.
Yeah. Just something that messes up the screen for half a second. Oh my god.
Bane of my existence. Cutscenes that just completely change angle. It's just like completely different for 2 frames.
Yeah, and then I have to go back and make the clip longer or speed it down with just 1 second
clip speed.
Yeah, 19. Exactly.
And I thought RTS games would suffer the least with that.
Yeah,
you can never do FPS
sometimes
games.
you like pan away though.
Oh yeah,
something
like
opens the menu or the map or something.
Yeah, you open the menu. Usually it's cutscenes.
You hotkey back to your base.
Yeah, you know, it's just RTS things. You know how it is.
What's fun though is that when sometimes you'll get like the opposite of that, where you'll get 2 clips that seamlessly link together because maybe you did like a combat animation or something.
Oh yeah,
and it's so satisfying when that happens. And often it happens like unintentionally. You'll just be like throwing stuff together, and it's like, ooh, that works. And it is so nice.
Sometimes I just throw clips at random because I'm too lazy to look up clips, and then and like 1 out of 10 times, sometimes I choose just the right clip, but by accident, and it fits so well with what I'm saying there, and I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, there's some magic that happens when you edit and it just comes together.
I love your No One Lives Forever video. I love those. Obviously these were intentional, but the bit where you just let the NPCs have their little chit chat, it's so good. It entertains me. Like I had to mention that in the Shadow of Mordor video when I was talking about like the orc dialogue. I was like, hey, if you want to see more of this but better, go here.
Oh, no.
Because like orcs are great and all, but that I had that clip of your video in my head for like so long. It's like, okay, this is my moment. Throwing that in there.
You guys have any videos that you wish you could make, or like that you want to make, but for some reason like can't, or have purposefully delayed to like, I don't know, wait for a certain time?
Too many RPGs because it just these take so much time. So you have to do multiple character builds if you want to like really get into it. It's just there's so much time.
Immersive Sims too, because you have so many options and paths, and I cover
Prey is a good one for that.
Yeah, I cover a lot of immersive Sims, and I have to like draw a line because I want to cover everything, like every path, every micro interaction that arises from you doing this or that, but it's just not feasible, so I have to like control myself, and they're a nightmare to write. Like I remember my Deus Ex script, it was a nightmare to write because I wasn't sure what I should focus on in that video, what mechanics, what outcomes, quest outcomes, and stuff like that.
There's just so many. There's so many to take account of in Deus Ex.
Yeah.
Just dealing with your brother alone is like, oh my god.
Yeah, and the Dishonored too. Like so many, like micro outcomes. And I know
like open worlds in general.
Yeah. I know my Dishonored 2 video will be a nightmare to make because there's so much shit there to cover. But I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
It's like the more a game rewards player choice and has freedom and great features, it's like wow, this is gonna be a shit. It's gonna take so long to record and outline and contrast stuff. It's like, man. People always like those videos though, but the production time is just crazy. It's funny to say production time for sitting on your ass playing a video game, but that's how it goes.
Well, it does count as production time because sometimes I have to load up a save to record a different quest outcome and shit.
I try not to do that. Like, if it starts to feel like work, I try not to be playing a game. But sometimes it's like, man, we do another pathway or something where you just need this clip of this thing. It's like, man, it's surreal.
You gotta strike a balance, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I try to just play the game, and that's why I record every second from my playthroughs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do as well. I'm always recording.
I mean, that's good that you do videos on what you want, though, because it's like, those people who like chase the new shit exclusively just because it's new, or just like stuff that's requested only because it's requested, and like they seem so miserable when it's shit they don't want to play. There's like, my fans voted for me to play this game. It's so fucking awful. They're just like, yeah, but it's not even like miserable and like they're gonna make jokes about it. They're just like, I hate these kinds of games. It's boring. It's like, why did you agree to this? This is your house. You don't have to do this.
There was that guy who went off on a Twitch stream, didn't he? Because he was
that doesn't narrow it down.
He was like, "Oh, I've spent the last 6 hours playing this game for you, and I've barely made anything of it." It's like, dude, you're playing a game.
What? I've been playing 6 hours of this game for you.
But that also reminds me of a Yahtzee quote from like one of the Let's Try Outs from years back, where like literally he was talking about like playing games for fun. And he's like, "Oh yeah, fun. This is why I'm playing Euro Truck Simulator 2 to relax. This is what I do to relax. Play truck simulators." Because he's just like, anytime he's playing anything else, it's for work.
Yeah, I feel that. Do you guys play games not for like quote unquote work?
No, I don't have time. I don't have time to play games for myself between my job, my day job, and the shit I do for YouTube. No. Man, I don't have time.
That was actually where the genesis of that PS1 idea came from, because I started playing old PS1 games in the evening
I should make a video about it.
Relax. And because I because I record everything anyway, so I was just naturally recording stuff, and I got like 2-3 games in, and I think I was playing Cooler World, and I was like, what if I made a PS1 video? And that was it. I was like, okay, great. Now I'm working again.
I mean, that's a good endorsement to be recording everything. Since if I'm playing something for fun, I might like F11 something funny. Because I have Shadow Play set up to grab like 30 seconds of past.
My PC does not like Shadow Play.
Yeah, it seems everyone has. It's either their PC doesn't like Shadow Play or OBS. Mine does not like OBS.
I've never had issues with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I use exclusively Shadow Play. It's just the best for me.
That's so interesting.
Shadow Play used to have bad audio issues, but I think they got that sorted out a little bit more. So some of my clips end with like the screeching of hell, which I have to get out of my for some reason, if you do like the where you like save past 30 seconds or past a minute, for whatever reason, sometimes my clips, when I'll do that, they'll end with the biggest spike in volume I've ever heard in my life, and it sounds like a voice from hell. Like, it'll just be the full clip, and then like the last second it goes
and then the ring video starts.
No, it almost made. I had to re-render the Arcanum video because I didn't catch it. It was dangerously close to coming out with like, it was playing like peaceful string quartet music, and then one of them, in between a transition, it just went kind of muted out a bit. and it was so loud. I was like, people are gonna go, what the fuck? Like, that's gonna scare the shit out of people. But beyond that, like, YouTube has a thing now where they will YouTube audio balances the whatever you put out on it now. So it's like yeah,
interesting.
Because back in the YouTube poop glory days, people would upload like, this is the loudest video on YouTube, where like Hotel Mario says no and blows your speakers out. So now they have like it auto equalizes and balances it. So if you do like try to put a screamer, yeah. But if you try to put a screamer or something in your video now, it'll fuck with the audio of all of it, because it'll try to balance it out so it doesn't kill somebody.
Oh, there goes my dream of putting Serious Sam headless men in my videos all the time, just to freak people out. Or Courage the Cowardly Dog. I've got too many samples of him in my videos.
He's wonderful, though.
He's amazing. There's also the oh god, what is that adventure game where it's all like plasticine and he falls down the hole and screams? Yeah, that's it. I've used that one a couple of times as well.
I've always toyed with making a video on the Neighborhood, but I never have. One day I will.
Please do.
Just like, it ruined my childhood, incredible. Man. That green monster gave me nightmares just forever. I still get them.
The one where he like crawls over his head and throws up on him and stuff, and he's like screaming.
Yeah, and he's like hanging from the roof or something, and the monster's like coming at him, and he can't like just put out the light or whatever he's stuck in. Like it's horrible.
You also had that like you had the endless hallway as well, where he just walks forever, and then you have to walk all the way back. It's like worse than the fucking Silent Hill 2 staircase. We're just walking forever.
Yeah, the game's horrifying. It's abandonware now. I tried to download it. I almost like the closest I ever got to making the video was like maybe 6 months ago. And I like downloaded the game off like myabandonware.com or whatever.
I love that website.
I couldn't get it to run, so I have to give another crack at it one day. Next Halloween.
The music is incredible in that game. If you listen to some of the isolated soundtrack on YouTube, it's such a fever dream. It's so strange.
The whole thing is just very bizarre. You see that? You remember they made like a sequel like 6 years ago or something?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it landed very well.
I had no idea.
It was made by the same people. What's it called? Neighborhood sequel. Yeah, Emicrog.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think it was very good. I didn't hear much about it. That's the F4s, 5s out of 10s. Yeah.
That's interesting. I've got the music playing in my head now, non-stop. Because all of it's like singing but no lyrics. So it's like noises. But to like country music, it's so strange.
I think I still have the disc for the Neighborhood. It's in a binder somewhere.
I don't know where all my old PC discs went, and I'm sad because I had a couple of I had like an old copy of like TA and stuff like that. I don't know where they went.
CD case of sleeves.
Yeah.
And very few big boxes. I don't need these. Just put it in the CD case and write the CD key on it.
And then the day comes where you're looking for the boxes and they're gone. It's like,
regret.
Yep.
Do you have any prized prized original discs or boxes or anything like the one that you'll never get rid of?
I've got my Limb of the Lost boxes, a few of them.
I have like 5 copies of Silent Hill 2 on PS2.
Oh shit.
Because every time I see one, I buy it. For the
why?
That's fair enough.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, and this mentality was formed before Konami decided to ring the series out for all it was worth in a recent announcement. Silent Hill 2 is a game that's been abandoned for a long time. And those PS2 copies, they aren't getting cheaper, and they aren't getting there aren't more of them being made. So I just figured, you know what, for the sake of preservation, I'm gonna buy every copy I find. It's been a while since I've bought one, but they are slowly garnering value, and that's only going to go up. And I don't know if I'll ever sell them, but it's nice to have them. And it's a kind of a meme as well. I think I put them in the Silent Hill video, like, hey, I like this game. I had like my kitchen counter. It was like five copies of this game. Like, just an FYI. I gotta validate myself somehow.
Do you have any cool like game covers or manuals or discs or anything? Prized positions?
Not really. I had some like borrowed CDs with games when I was a kid. Like borrowed, if you get my drift.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
other than that,
With the CD key written on the top. Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really collect physical media because I don't really have the space to store it. I will someday. Yeah, I do buy a lot of books though. Maybe that's why I don't have space for games. But yeah, I mostly buy stuff on GOG. So
should back that stuff up forever.
Yep.
The thing with books, though, I mean, that's another thing that you can easily get some real interesting finds, like the Jason X books from the movie. They made like 3 of those books, and they're extremely rare. And I used to, I remember
Jason X
having,
books.
yeah. So
That
the film
is
itself is obviously
bizarre. What it is.
What it is, but there's like 3 books, and they're actually not bad. They're pretty good.
Are they about like what happens afterwards, or just covering the movie
before
really
and
detailed?
afterwards? Yeah, and
that's weird. That's interesting.
And they're like really hard to find because they weren't that many made of them. So, if you ever see a copy of Jason X on a paperback, pick that up.
Learning more about the lore of the setting of Jason X is just bizarre. But now I'm really interested knowing that's out there somewhere.
You're going to see it one day, but that's it. And you won't be able to stop yourself.
That's the sign. Got to get that book. There was also another one.
I've never heard about this series until now.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite little pieces of like Friday the 13th lore. But there was another. I was thinking of making a video on choose your own adventure game books that used to scare me as a child. Because there's a couple that used to scare the shit out of me, like the Fighting Fantasies Haunted House. The artwork in that book is fucking terrifying. And
oh man,
I went into like my mom's loft to try and recover what I could find, and I realized that I used to have an old Minds of Moria choose your own adventure book, and I have no idea where it's gone. So I went online and I eBayed myself a copy of the Haunted House one. When I looked for the Minds of Moria one, it's like 70 quid. It's like ridiculously hard to find, and only like, and I'm really annoyed at myself because it was like, oh, I used to have that book. Now I don't know where it's gone.
It's hard to
safely
find.
Kept in a box somewhere that you'll never find. Apparently,
God knows.
I read some of those Goosebumps ones. There was a clown who comes to the clown who comes to your birthday party. You could play paintball with him, but his gun is filled with acid.
The camera that used to steal your soul.
Oh yeah, Say Cheese and Die.
That was it, yeah.
It's Ryan Gosling, I think.
Wait, really?
Mm-hmm. There's a bunch of Canadian actors who had crossover between Goosebumps and Are You Afraid of the Dark. Because in Are You Afraid of the Dark, he's in an episode where there's like a radio station that calls me Afterlife, and Gilbert Gottfried is the announcer on it. So a child has to yell at Gilbert Gottfried to not get sent to hell while Ryan Gosling is figuring out what the fuck's going on.
Because all I remember, like, I used to have some of those books and I saw some of the episodes, but there was this one trailer for this episode that I used to play non-stop on kids' TV when I was younger, and it was like this kid was being chased by a floating skull, and he was like screaming his head off, like really overacting it and going ah. And this little floating skull is like it's like glowing green and just floating ominously towards him. And every time that trailer came on, it's like just seared into my memory of seeing this kid freak out.
That is, I would put money on that either being the Haunted Mask Part 1 or 2, because the masks, they float like that after people.
Oh, okay.
It's probably that one, but for one that like the ghosts of the masks or something, they go after people and go like, you have to wear me, and they float all shitty and they scream and run away.
What was the mannequin or like the doll?
Oh, Slappy.
That was it. He's like the progenitor to James Wan's. I'm not thinking of the new one. I'm thinking of his. What was his movie that he made in like 2008 with the guy from True Blood about killer mannequins or killer marionettes? I can't remember.
You made a killer marionette movie?
Yeah. It's got like the guy from True Blood in it who plays the brother.
Which
guy? He plays. It's the guy who plays Suki's brother. He hasn't really been anything else. Ryan something.
Oh, he's Australian. The Australian actor. Okay, yeah.
But
I've never heard of this.
They made like like James Wan made like a puppet movie. I think it's James Wan. Let me just see if I can.
I mean, Slappy was in. Oh my god, he's been in so many Goosebumps books.
Dead Silence. That's the one.
Like it's like one of his first. Oh, it's like pre.
That cover is like
okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
spooky.
Yeah.
Beat me to it. Very good.
It does look very similar. Yeah.
It's very. It's sort of similar vibes to the.
But yeah, he comes alive with the magic words. Okay.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. The film has gathered a cult following. Wow. Okay. I hope this new movie ends with like a Dead Silence sequel where Megan has to fight this thing.
Where you get like wait, you think of Megan the new because you got Annabelle. It was if we get like all four of them together in a room and just like battle royale it, just see which one comes out on top.
It'll be like the ending of Split. He'll reveal this is a sequel to Dead Silence, and it'll be Dead Silence, Annabelle, and also Malignant because fuck it, let's have Gabriel in this too.
Bruce Willis just turns up. So YouTube videos, huh?
Yeah. How about that, eh? YouTube videos about Dead Silence. There's one more question I want to ask. I think I should probably consider going to bed because it's 3 a.m. here.
Fair.
I want to know if you guys have any indispensable software pieces of software that you cannot live without, mainly as a selfish reasoning to try and use them myself if they are that good.
That's so hard. That's like a shadow play.
It's going to be something niche. I've got one.
Okay.
Give me mine.
Go on then.
All right. 4K video downloader. You guys use that?
Dodgy YouTube download websites.
Yeah, this is an actual piece of software. I paid for it.
Ooh.
I paid like $50 for
a
professional subscription. But it just downloads YouTube videos.
Annually?
You don't search free YouTube downloader and find the newest like YouTube mate or whatever link is working.
Yeah, that's what I've been using for a long time.
I was like, no, I'm gonna. It sounds dodgy software. It's literally called 4K video downloader. But,
that sounds like it's mining fucking Bitcoin.
It does, but I assure you, my tutor at university told me about it 8 years ago, and it's never failed me. It's really, really good.
That might be worth it if it does always work.
It does always work, and I use it for literally every video.
Yeah, Mark's right. I've been easy like that, and I've just screen captured a YouTube video if I didn't need.
I was then gonna say that.
I do occasionally
do that. Like, come on, Mal, come on, Bar, go away, fuck off. I have to go back 10 seconds.
Yeah, sometimes it's there's like a 90-minute video, and it's like, I only need 5 seconds of this. I'm just gonna use OBS.
Yeah, it's like I'm not downloading this. I'll never delete it anyways. I'm gonna see it 3 years later and get mad. Why do I have this?
Do you ever do that thing where you finish making a video, right, and you delete it off your hard drive, you put it into your drive folder or what have you, and it's there, and then you realize you need a piece of footage or something that was from that video.
God,
and you have two choices.
Question about this.
You can either download your video again so that you can reuse that specific piece of footage,
don't do that.
or you just screen record your own YouTube.
No, come on.
I did all of those things.
Sometimes you just need a piece of footage.
It's also really annoying the built-in YouTube download backup of your own video is in 480p at 15 frames per second. It's actually unusable. They're like, here, back up your video, download your own video. It's like, okay. It's just complete garbage.
Well, just to roll in on the Resolve train again, Resolve has a really great way of referencing old footage. You can just kind of drop it in, and it doesn't have to it just links to the old location. You don't have to like do anything. You can just load up the old project, if you've moved the footage, and you just drop it in and drop it out. It's so easy.
Oh, that's wild.
It's really good. It's like a completely different way to manage projects. So you like open Resolve, you've got all your projects there, and it all saves. Like it's all saved in like a database. Like it's a different way of thinking. Like in Premiere, like you save a project file and it's like in that folder, right? It's like in your like game review folder. Whereas DaVinci stores its projects in like a database that always stays on like your C drive. So they're always there, and they just reference to footage that's wherever you want. So you can just relink it when you've moved all the footage to your like storage drive or whatever, and then you just jump into the old project and it's all there.
So easy.
Yeah, it is. It's so easy. That's DaVinci Resolve in a nutshell. Unless you want to import anything from After Effects.
Your processes are so fancy. I just have Adobe Premiere, Audacity, NVIDIA Shadowplay, and that's about it. I don't use anything else to make my workflow easier in any possible way. Oh my god. I really need to address this shit.
But at the same time, you're making really good stuff now,
yeah,
so it's not like it's hindering you.
No, you.
This is where I pull out my Uno reverse card.
No.
I had a really good question before, and I've totally forgotten it. I've already forgotten it twice, and it's like come back twice, and I've forgotten it again.
I'm just looking at the topics ideas list, and I love how sporadic this has been.
I told you it would be, didn't I?
But it's
like we're gonna get talking about like something completely random, and there we were. It was good though.
I was just gonna sort of touch on something you actually said earlier about like the biggest thing people.
You go. Yep.
No, go, because otherwise you might forget.
No, I've written it down. It's in Google Keep. You go.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, biggest thing people wouldn't realize about making videos, and outside of like, because Mark, you said it earlier, and I'm in the same boat. Like, you know, we both have full-time jobs and things like that. Like, I think a lot of people maybe don't realize that your time is not necessarily devoted 100% to doing this, and I think that's really easy to forget as a viewer, because like it's kind of become the norm now, where like people spend hours upon hours upon hours streaming, or you know, putting themselves out there every single day, but in the background, like maybe you only have a few hours to work in an evening, and that frustrates you. But in the end, like when you finally get that video made, and it's taken you like 3 weeks, and you're like, oh, I predicted this would take me like half of that time. So I guess like stuff like that. Like I always, when I was strictly only a viewer, and it was like, oh, it's been a month since they uploaded, it never occurred to me to be on the other side of that coin, where it's like, for me to get that video out before that month time, like where did those 3 weeks go? Like it's so surreal how quickly that time flies.
Yeah, it's like it's so quick.
That's my rant.
After like 3 days, it's like you feel the count beginning again. Like, oh man, the video is feeling less new every day. I needed to work on something.
You open the studio app and it's like first 21 days. Like shit, it's been 3 weeks.
That's why I deleted it.
It's tough. Like I definitely notice it with, you know, you're like more conscious of it. Like if I'm watching, you know, I'm like, oh, I haven't seen them in a while. Like thinking, oh, they've probably got like a life, you know, like they've probably like a job and like a family, and otherwise, like you think like, why aren't they just making videos all the time?
Okay.
Yeah. It's like Joe. I mean, he's been working on that Witcher video for so long, but at the same time, you know, he's got a family, he streams a lot and things like that. So, I mean, it's not like he's not doing things. And
he like destroyed his own Patreon too, didn't he? Because he was like,
he does so well.
Well, I think he like didn't he shut it down? Maybe it was temporarily.
Oh,
I think at some point he did. Yeah. I don't know if it's still gone, but at some point he's like, I'm taking it down. This video is taking too long.
I think that's pretty admirable, because it would be very, very easy to let that run. And even now, like even now, you'll see channels that have maybe been, you know, inactive for years, where they've literally said, I'm done, I'm not doing this anymore, but they still have an active Patreon. And that like there's a certain like, yeah, you can't help but look at that and be like, because I mean, I feel so like it took me forever to even muster the courage to put a Patreon out there. It took so long, and I hate promoting it every time. I hate mentioning it. But at the end of the video, I want to thank those people. That's like, hey, thank you for sticking around. That's really appreciated.
I've had a video in my drafts folder for over a year that's titled "Announcing My Patreon." And the Patreon's been out for like 18 months.
Man.
Because I didn't realize you had one. So when I spotted
it... Yes, because I should really make this video, but every time I'm like, man, I could make a review instead.
The thing is, like, you'll get a boost, but people tend to find it if they like you.
Yeah.
They'll hunt around for it.
Alright, should I fire this last question before I forget it again?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Alright. Have you ever been in the predicament where you've uploaded a video and you've noticed a critical error and it's been up for like a day or half a day or whatever, and you may have to make the decision whether to pull it and fix it and like kill the video because like re-uploading sucks, or just leave it?
I just leave it.
I just left it as well. I wouldn't say I had a critical error that was going to tank the entire video, sort of, the validity in my mind. But my favorite error that I've made was when I reviewed Carrion, and I forgot to change the timestamp screen splash from timestamp to the actual number. So when I release that video, when it says, "Hey, yeah," so if you if you want to skip to the spoilers, go to here, and it just says fucking timestamp.
That's pretty funny.
I didn't realize for like 3 days, and then I saw it, and then that was back when I used to actually rewatch my own videos. Now I could never do that, but because it kills me every time. But I went back and rewatched it to sort of skim through, and I saw it. I was like, "Oh God."
You get that sinking feeling. You're like, "Oh no."
A little bit. I just put a comment, or I don't know. I put something in the description like, "Hey."
And rip annotations, right? Like that would have solved that problem.
Yeah. I just had to put a thing. I was like, "Hey, I done goofed. If you want to skip the spoilers, go here."
Yeah, I think I have also just left it up because if it was, I guess I just haven't had anything that critical go up that was like that. I had something, I think, where it was like, and there was like a black screen for far too long, or like there's like a gap, but then I could use the YouTube editor and just like clip that down. It wasn't a problem. But using the YouTube editor is such a horrible
16-hour processing for a 1 second.
It's so sickening. Like, just stitch this together, and it's a terrible interface.
It's whether or not even.
I mean, at least it's there. It's nice to have. It's a back pocket save.
I think one of the funniest I've seen of those was it was a few years ago. It was an Angry Joe video. It was about I think it was Overwatch, and he's like, "Okay, so here's what I think," and it came on the screen. It was just this giant sample text for a good 2 minutes. It was unbelievable because it made me think of a really good bit he could do. He was pulling a ghost, and he was going and editing it from like vacation or something. He was in some unusual. Yeah, it's like that. That was for like supposed to be the score, but instead just like sample text for a good 40 seconds. But it made me think of like a good bit where he could be like, "And the final verdict is this," and like a big sample text would pop up. If he did that, that'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it could be like an ongoing.
Yeah, like a bit.
Here's the final score. Boom, and just sample text like in the seal. So yeah, I've never had anything that critical, but Angry Joe said, "Fuck it, it stays up." So good for him.
Yeah, exactly. I had a pretty funny situation. It was earlier this year. I made a little video on Total War Medieval 2 for iPad because I was just playing random iPad games for some reason. It was fun. Like I was like, whatever. Like it wasn't a sponsored video, but they sent me a code, and I put the video up, and the guy from Feral Interactive like emailed me after, and he's like, "Look, I know it's your own video and you can do whatever you want, but at the start you joked that the board did a line of cocaine to decide to put this game on iPad. Like, would you mind removing that?"
Really?
I was like, yeah, and I was like,
oh,
okay, like I'll just cut it out with the YouTube editor. Like it's It's not like critical to the video or anything. It's just like a bit. So I was like, okay.
That's so shocking.
It was really funny though. I was like, it's clearly a joke.
Yeah. It's like, hey, can you cut out that line about the board doing cocaine?
Yeah.
We have some people poking around already, and this isn't helping.
That's like Disney level damage control.
It was because it was right at the start of the video too. It was like, I think I like did this huge sniff. I was like, whoa guys, that just came out of the Feral Interactive board meeting, and we've decided to put Total War on the iPad. I was okay, I'll do it.
Like that's such like a weird emotional roller coaster too. Like, whoa, I got an email from someone from that company I did a video on. Whoa, they saw it. Whoa, they want me to remove the line about them doing cocaine.
So it's like they clearly just started to watch it and were like, whoa, you can't do that. Like, well, I can.
You can't joke about us doing cocaine. How could you?
It's not quite a journalistic integrity kind of thing. So it's like, yeah, whatever. I'll split it up with the YouTube editor.
I remember watching your End War video and it having some of your best jokes in it. Really cracked me up.
I got a comment from someone today who just ripped into me. They're like, this game is actually really good.
Oh, that's a good ending question. You asked if we have one. Favorite mean comment, if you can think of one.
They told me to hire a narrator.
Oh, bro, come on.
Wow. Yeah. I have
and another
mine.
And another guy told me my English sounds, I quote, broke as shit.
I have mine saved somewhere.
Saved?
Read it. Yeah, I saved it.
Saved it?
I have another example. Sorry, a short example. Someone, they basically insulted me in the comments. They said I said one thing in a video, but it was the other. And I said, okay, I'll buy it. And I just explained what he got wrong about the video. And they were like, okay, sorry, fair enough. I was in a bad mood.
That's the best outcome. I've had that a couple of times. People leave a mean comment to them, like, hey, this, and that. And they're like, oh, thanks for replying. Like, I was being a dick, sorry. I'm like, yeah, great, good outcome.
I have mine. I actually had a screenshot on my phone still. Just why do you like that piece of shit Carl Franz and his weirdo buddy with the golden mask? I fucking hate you. And then he elaborated in a follow-up comment like, I'm sorry, every time I try to play this game, they always team up and kill me. I just want to spread vampire corruption. I'm taking it out on you. I'm sorry. It's like, why do you like that piece of shit and his weirdo friend with the golden mask?
That's so good.
Just so strange.
I found it.
The weirdest things. All right, hit us.
It was on Doom 3. The shotgun is as inconsistent as your bizarre pronunciation of T's. I thought that was incredible.
That's so specific. That's wow.
I loved it so much. I think I actually hearted it and pinned it, but then he removed the comment. I was like, oh,
dude, my favorite, my toxic trait is pinning rude comments in YouTube.
I've seen that.
Having them backpedal to all hell. It's so funny. I cannot get over how funny it is.
Because you get people in the comments like, oh, holy shit, he pinned it. And it's like, ooh.
Yeah, there's always a 50-50 if people are like, man, Zade, you're such a dick for pinning this guy, and now all your fanboys are attacking him. I don't have fanboys. And the other half's like, man, you shouldn't have been a dick in the comments. I can't really see it. It was some, I think it was Dawn of War 2, and he was like, because I was talking in the video about how the game is the balance is off basically, and that it's too hard in some ways but not in others. And the comment was like, actually, you're just not very good at the game. I completed the game on elite difficulty with no problem. You're just bad. Summary. So I pinned him, and I was like, the reply was like, sorry, you're a god of gaming, or something like that. I still get replies to that thread of people fighting it out of I shouldn't have pinned him, or I should have. It's very funny.
Oh, Mark, I just saw that.
Yeah, they actually said your English is pretty broke here. Try to use less text. Okay.
You can't even spell it right.
Isn't brokey how Jar Jar Binks pronounce it in the film?
Yeah.
That's how he pronounces it in...
When the battle droids die, it's they all...
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched The Phantom Menace.
They also said in a reply that they're fluent in 5 languages, so,
Okay.
That means your English is extra brokey.
Pretty brokey, bro.
think I had one other comment that was really good. It's become like a running gag in, my like IRL friend Discord. It was like a really older video. It was like my first really mean comment. It was just like some innocuous video. I think it was like a video on Oblivion or something where I made some point, and they said I was being like intellectually dishonest by putting this point in this way. I'm like, dude, I'm talking about like horse riding in Oblivion. Who cares?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
Yeah, pretty much.
I love that.
The funny ones are just when it's like, oh, this is your opinion is quite biased. It's like, yes.
Yes.
Yes. What do you mean? Actually, that was another funny comment I got once that was it was about Republic Commando because it was a Star Wars thing. And someone said something like, wow, you only consider some Star Wars to be the good one. Done with your bias, not watching this. Yeah, I do have preferences for these movies, actually.
Whoa, hold on. They're not all entirely equal? Bias?
That's so strange.
I love YouTube comments, man. Like, I love it. That's great.
I did have one recently on the Silent Hill 2 video. Sorry, Mike, go on.
Like, until you get that one mean comment that really gets to you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. That does suck because it like sticks with you. Like, man, am I really like a terrible human?
It's like, oh fuck, he's found out the truth. He can see.
Is my English really broken?
He can see.
I actually don't find that it bothers me that much. Maybe it's because I've spent like the last 10 years working in some form of customer service, but I don't think I don't think I've ever actually had a comment that genuinely got under my skin. Like, I'm quite comfortable to just ignore the ones that are just being blatantly like, I don't like you. It's like, okay, fine, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, those are the funny ones.
Yeah,
they're good. I like those.
And I think the ones for me, and this is really only something that's occurred on the Silent Hill 2 video, is people who will like try to nitpick things, and they'll be like, oh, you didn't talk about XYZ, and I'll literally just respond with a timestamp of me talking about that exact thing. So
so you clearly didn't watch the whole video.
Like, that's the only thing that I'm genuinely like, well, I did. So here you go.
Yeah, the ones that get me are like, you are like, you were paid off. Like you're like pushing an agenda.
Oh yeah,
man, I'm just like talking about a game, bro. That's
Silent Hill 2 is asking for it though. Like, the fucking dude who designed Pyramid Head was getting frustrated with their shit recently.
Yeah,
it's like they're talking about the remake, like, oh, his eyes looking towards the player. Like, shut the fuck up. No, he's not. Like, yes, it is this, that, and that. He said, I designed the cutscene. Please shut the fuck up and stop arguing with me.
Do you follow him on Twitter? Because he's very active on there, and he's a really lovely guy, and he's really like wholesome as well. He's always sharing stuff about food and like things like that. But then sometimes he'll get like a particularly enthusiastic fan. And he's like, dude, don't you know who I am? I made this.
Yeah. Like, one of my friends has like talked to him before in DMs, like, oh yeah, he's like really nice. Like, he was critiquing these like designs I had. Just seems like a really swell guy.
Yeah.
So then and then the Silent Hill 2 analysis people come on him, and he's like, oh fuck.
I mean, I was really like, I do have a couple of like screenshot quotes from him throughout that video, but I did have to make like a conscious decision. I was like, okay, I don't want to reach out to any of these people. And I mean, I guess it's a shame that Gaisiki has gone off the deep end a little bit as well, because he's a really intelligent guy. He's a fantastic businessman. If you've ever watched any of it,
is he the guy that got arrested for insider trading?
No, he's the guy who voiced James.
Is that another?
But he has some really
I'm thinking of Square Enix.
Yeah, he has some really questionable opinions, unfortunately. A lot of it came out like during the pandemic and stuff. But yeah. So I kind of just had to be okay, I'm not going to approach any of these people. I'm just going to make the video. But I have approached somebody for the Zone of the Enders video, which, if I'm lucky, that'd be really nice if it happens. So we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, it's like the lady who plays Tanya in Red Alert 3 FMV cutscenes is like a hardcore anti-vaxxer.
Oh, really?
Ooh.
She's like insane, and I like made a joke about it in my Relit 3 review, and like, there's like a few comments that, you know, are kind of what you'd expect.
Yeah.
For that, and I'm like, no.
How dare you?
It's such like a weird factoid to learn, though. Like, oh, Tanya from Red Alert 3 is an anti-vaxxer.
It's a great heading.
It's like learning Yuri's like a flat earther.
Like, I'm assuming you made that up, but for a moment, I was like, that sounds so true. Like, oh, did you know like the Kane voice actor is like a Scientologist? He just told him to be himself. He wasn't even acting. They just recorded him.
Yeah, they tried to get Tom Cruise, but in the end, the guy who was making the game just had to step in.
Yeah, here we go. Yeah, Tanya for Red Alert 3. The nation's most prominent purveyor of anti-vaxxer ideology.
Oh, God.
Written several books.
Rip Tanya. Is it the same as Red Alert 2?
No, it's different.
Okay,
lady.
good.
I don't actually know Red Alert 3, Tanya, because I played very little of Red Alert 3.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I played so much 2. I don't think I played 3 much at all.
Jeannie McCarthy is her name.
Okay.
Apparently she's like actually kind of well known. She's not just known for
I was about to say Jeannie McCarthy's an actress.
Yeah.
She's known primarily for her anti-vaxxing.
Did not know she was Tanya in Red Alert 3. And I'm learning so much.
It's really like an insightful night we've had here. A morning, I guess, for you.
Well, for both of you. Day became night.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like 3:30 in the morning here. Might want to start wrapping this up. Unless anyone else has anything to add or any final questions or points or anything at all.
No.
Video games are good.
I agree with that.
That's pretty good, yeah. They're fine.
What a great note to
They're
end
worth
with.
spending. They're worth spending some time on, but I wouldn't make it my sole focus.
Look, I wouldn't spend 1 hour per minute of video on it. That's for sure.
No. I got better things to do.
Or 9.
It's just fun. Thanks for having us. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no,
of course.
This is like an idea I wanted to do for a while, and just came around. It was fun.
Super
Thanks
fun.
all for coming out.
We've learned a lot
Thank you
about
for having us.
YouTube and conspiracies.
Yeah, and the pancakes.
Oh yeah, the pancakes.
The alien pancakes.
And to speak for the people where it's like the middle of the day, thank you to you two for coming on at a time that's not exactly convenient. It's appreciated.
It's fine. I mean, we started earlier than we planned, which I think was
if we'd started when we'd planned.
Oh God, Zade, you'd be fucked.
We would be half done. Yeah, I'd be like 2 hours in bed and then up for work. That's what I mean. Like the 4 corners of the world, man. It's like time zones ain't gonna work. Well, thanks for coming, and thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.
Goodbye.
See ya.
Thanks very much.